Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Elbow Nudge Podcast. This is episode 4, and today is a Thanksgiving episode.
The Thanksgiving episode.
I'm here with Caroline. Caroline, how are you doing?
It's a great day. Tone, that's it. This is the up we're going. It's going to keep getting better and better. This is the start of the holidays. This is what makes it plural. We're going into
I thought that
Thanksgiving.
started with Halloween.
I don't celebrate Halloween. We're starting with Thanksgiving.
I know, but you know what I was thinking about
What?
recently?
What?
Thanksgiving is definitely the middle child of the holidays,
Aw, you're
without
so
a doubt.
right. You're so right. It really is.
Halloween is the youngest, Christmas is the oldest, and Thanksgiving gets no respect or attention.
I mean, everybody still gets together to appreciate it and eat, but nobody talks about it before or after. It doesn't get the hype. It doesn't get the music. And as we're going to find out today, it doesn't get the movies.
Yeah, it barely gets movies. Even though we did look around. There are some,
There are some.
but I
Um,
bet even the
mhm.
listeners out there, I bet they won't be able to name maybe like 3 Thanksgiving movies off the
I,
top of their head.
I'd say two, because
Two?
you can name one. One is easy.
I could barely name one. Name one.
A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving,
Okay,
right there. And so, like, that's one.
that's one that we learned together. Yeah, I didn't want to include that one.
Yeah.
We
So
didn't watch it.
we did not watch it, but that's one. But like, try to think of any other Thanksgiving
And
movie.
try to name 3 Christmas movies.
Yeah, like,
Not even a challenge. Try to name 10. There you go. Easy.
can you name 3 Christmas movies off the top of your head, Tom?
Yeah. Home
Go.
Alone, Home Alone 2, Home Alone 3, Home Alone 4,
Now you're flexing. That was 4, I asked for 3.
Home Sweet Home Alone.
Touche. You got me there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
a
was
lot of
driving in my sister's neighborhood today and I saw one house that had Thanksgiving decorations. They had a big old turkey out in the
Whoa.
front.
You should
Yeah,
have left them a little thank you note, like,
I
"Thank you
should
for
have.
having your priorities
I
together."
really should have because it's so rare to see that.
That's really cool.
And the other holidays, Halloween and Christmas, they get their own months dedicated.
Oh, yeah.
Thanksgiving, I mean, you're one of the culprits.
I mean
You start celebrating Christmas right now. It's not even Thanksgiving season.
can
So
confirm my entire house is Christmas except my dining table. That's Thanksgiving.
so this episode is for all of you out there who are fans of Thanksgiving and middle childs. We acknowledge you.
Tony acknowledges you.
That's I acknowledge you. The Elbow Nudge podcast, at least 50% of it acknowledges you, and we care about you.
I acknowledge the pain. I acknowledge the middle children.
What
Thank
pain?
the burden of being the overlooked child, the middle child. That is
Are you
Thanksgiving.
speaking for them or not as them? You're not a
No, no,
middle
no, no,
child.
no. I'm saying I empathize.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah, I get that.
sympathize, I should say. It's like you have my sympathy.
I get that. I get that. Okay. So yeah, we care about you guys and we care about Thanksgiving here.
I will say as a kudos to Thanksgiving, I think Thanksgiving has the best food out of any holiday. The best food.
Isn't really the only difference turkey?
It's not just the turkey, it's the turkey, the stuffing, the cranberry sauce, the gravy.
Oh yeah, cranberry is a big one for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie is the best.
Pumpkin pie. And then my family, we don't just do a pumpkin pie, we have what's called a pumpkin roll. You know what a Swiss roll is? You know those cakes that are flat and you roll them up
Yes.
and you have cream?
Yep.
So
I love a Swiss roll.
this is a pumpkin roll. So it's a pumpkin cake that you roll and it has cream cheese in there. And then you layer the
Cream
topping.
cheese, huh? Not whipped
Yeah.
cream?
Well, it's a cream cheese icing.
Okay.
So it's a cream cheese icing, and then you fill it with that, and you roll it, and then you top it with powdered sugar. And it's my favorite dessert. I love pumpkin rolls.
That does sound really good. Because I just love pumpkin pie, so if there's anything close to that. I love the texture of pumpkin pie.
Are you the type of person that eats your pumpkin pie like a pizza?
How many different ways are there to eat it?
Fork and, just a fork, and then
Don't cut. You
well,
just gobble it up.
I mean, you can cut it with a fork and then you eat it, but then you can also eat it like a pizza. You just pick
Wait,
up that
cut it
pie.
and leave messy lines? Like you don't you would just dig right in?
I feel like you're trying to talk me into a trap, but you know what I mean. You have a slice of pumpkin pie in front of you. How do you devour that? Do you get a plastic fork or whatever and you know, you eat it regularly as you would a piece of cake, or do you pick up that sucker and slide it in your mouth like a piece of pizza?
Oh, no, okay, no, I was confused.
Uh,
I thought you meant from the box. Like, how do you eat it? That's why I was saying, wait, you don't cut it? Like, you cut it first. And I thought you were saying, like, do you cut it or do you just go with a fork and just start gobbling at it? You said cut it with your fork. I'm like,
That's a
wait,
monster. You just start diving into a pumpkin pie with fork. Oh my goodness.
I
I mean,
think if it's Thanksgiving Day, I'll use a fork. But any day before Thanksgiving, I'm gonna eat it pizza style.
I tried to eat it pizza style once, and I don't know, couldn't do it. I'm a
Really?
f
It's great.
I'm a fork person.
I mean, I get that. It's part of the experience, but
It really is. That's what happens when you eat a pie. And pumpkin pie is like one of the only pies that isn't messy. It stays together.
that's what I was gonna say. And on top of that, if you eat it pizza style, you're not dirtying a fork and you're not dirtying a plate. You just grab a napkin.
That's a
Bam.
great point. I've been
Hmm.
wasting forks. I think
Well,
you
there you go.
convinced me to go pizza style.
Try it just once. Not on Thanksgiving though. You got to be proper on Thanksgiving.
You know, you're right, but part of me does wanna try it on Thanksgiving. Just be a rebel.
So let me explain this Thanksgiving episode, Caroline. We got questions today,
Oh. Oh, yeah. And
but
by
this
we, I
time you know the
mean you.
questions.
Yeah, this time I'm not being on the spot. I was able to prepare beforehand.
Yeah, we're not going to be breaking down a movie today. We're going to be talking about Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving movies, and we're going to surprise each other with our answers. We have some questions to prompt conversation, and we'll go from there.
This episode is just dedicated to Tony's favorite holiday, Thanksgiving.
You mean the 4th of July? It passed already.
I stand
Second favorite
corrected.
holiday.
We dedicate this episode to Tony's second favorite holiday and my fourth favorite holiday.
4th. I don't
It's
even
Christmas.
want to know.
Okay. Okay.
4th. I can't even think of that many holidays. You don't count Halloween, so that already
Uh-uh.
knocks that out. Christmas, Valentine's Day, 4th of July, Thanksgiving.
No.
Okay.
Christmas,
Uh-huh.
Resurrection Day, or
Oh,
Easter,
okay. I
and
gotcha.
New Year's.
I forgot about New Year's. New Year's is nice.
I like New Year's. I like the fireworks.
You could also get down the 4th of July.
Yeah, you can, but I think it's the spectacle, the fireworks at midnight kinda thing. It's cold.
You get to think of your New Year's resolution.
I think of it and I set myself up for failure, but yeah, it's more about, like, I guess, like, in my family, this is we're cutting into Thanksgiving, poor Thanksgiving's time, but it's the food, the
It's the
weather, the
middle child.
fireworks.
Of course
It is.
he's gonna get ignored.
It's my 4th favorite. But yeah, I like New Year's.
I completely forgot about that. Obviously, I barely had any of these holidays in mind.
I'm a holiday person. I like holidays
Okay.
myself.
I like Thanksgiving. It's nice.
Evident by this episode.
So let's get to the questions.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
All right.
Question number 1.
Question one. So just in general, I think this is a good warm up. It doesn't even have to be a Thanksgiving movie. Just which movie makes you feel thankful for anything in your life, family, friends, or just anything you got.
Okay.
You have one?
I have 4 for this
What?
list. Yeah. I couldn't, so I have a lot of them are like there's a lot, but yeah, I have
Go ahead.
4.
Let's hear 'em.
Number 1 is this movie. It's an old movie. It's called Meet Me in St. Louis, and it stars Judy Garland, who, as people popularly know her as Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. So she is in this movie, and it's about a family, and it's the mom, the dad, the grandfather, the oldest son, and he's like already in college. Then it's 2 girls, and then that are already teenagers. They're like 18, 19. And then it's 2 more girls, and they're like 6 and 7. So like big age gap. And this movie follows this family. It follows them through 4 seasons. It starts in the summer where they're talking and they're going through like family things. One of the girls has a crush on a guy, another girl is dating another guy. Like it goes through, it somehow like ties into all of their family dynamics, their problems, their interests, their lives. And like in the summer, it's them trying to date or trying to get the person they like to like them. And then there's like it goes to the fall, and one of the little sisters get in trouble for Halloween, and it goes through that shenanigans. And then the Thanksgiving part comes around, and that's where they all find out that the dad, because they live in St. Louis, Missouri, I believe. And that's where the dad breaks the news to them that they have to leave St. Louis and go move to New York. And none of them want to do that. They have their home in St. Louis. St. Louis at the time was home to the World's Fair, which I think this is the 30s. And that was the biggest deal, the World's Fair. And it was like just a festival times 100, and they were so excited to go to the World's Fair, like that's their big thing. And so to move away from New York is like to them to leave like the greatest city on earth. And there's this scene in the movie where the dad tells them this, and all of the children are heartbroken, they're angry, they're yelling, they're crying. And the mom is upset as well, like his wife. She's like, you can't just, uproot us and take us somewhere. They would have to leave like their house, which is big for the time, and then go move to like a flat in New York because New York doesn't have big houses, is what they all assume, and things like that. And so they're all heartbroken and they're crying, and they all go to their rooms, they shut the door, and the dad is just really sad and thinking like, wow, I'm trying to, like, he got promoted at work, so he thought he was doing a good thing because he got promoted, he's gonna make more money. And so he goes to this piano and he just starts playing this tune, and the mom kind of stops on her way to the stairs, and she turns around and she starts singing with the dad. And while she's singing with the dad, all of the kids, they go and they get like a piece of cake because they were all eating dessert at that time. And they go and they just sit with their parents and they're eating dessert and they're crying. And to me, that scene is so heartwarming because in a way it's like, a lot of times as a family, you go through things or you do things that get you upset and stuff, but at the end of the day, you still love each other and you're still a family and you still stick together. And I don't know, I just like that scenario of them all having a fight, they all leave and then they come back and they're eating dessert. And like I just that's happened a lot in my own house where there's, discussions and voices get raised and stuff, but nobody really has to kind of apologize. It's just like, okay, yeah, tempers were hot, but we all just come together and we're eating a dessert. And that movie just makes me like, I see my own family in that movie, and that makes me feel thankful that I was able to like have a family like that, and I relate to that a lot. So that's why like Meet Me in St. Louis makes me feel thankful because I'm like, yeah, yeah, that's a good family.
Yeah, it seems like they were able to just realize that whatever issues they had weren't a big deal at all, and they could still come together.
Exactly, exactly. So like even though they're facing a situation that, for a kid, I think also like to just be for the younger two of the children to just be picked up and moved, it's kind of scary and things like that. But that realization of like, you know what, as long as we're together, that's what matters.
I think that's also a perfect Thanksgiving theme as well.
It's interesting because that movie is technically a Christmas movie, but not really. Because it goes through the 4 seasons, like I said, so there is a Christmas in it, and that movie is where the song "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" originated. It was writ
Really?
it was written for that movie, and that movie got so popular that now that's why you hear "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas," all the time. But that it was written for that movie.
I had no idea, and I hear that song all the time.
Oh, yeah, I had no idea until my mom had me watch it. But yeah, so like they go through so it's not really a Christmas movie because it ends in the spring because they do like a whole year round thing, but it has all of the seasons in it. So I
But they
feel
go
like
through various holidays.
yeah, they go through various holidays. They go through Halloween, they go through like a Thanksgiving, they go through Christmas, they go through New Year's, and then they end up in like the spring at the World's Fair.
So, yeah, you could pick it for any holiday category, and it'll fit in.
You can pick it at any time of the year and it'll fit because you're like, oh, we're there now. We're there now.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Let's do a little back and forth. I gave one movie, you give a movie.
I didn't know you were gonna pick 4. I only picked 1.
Maybe I was confused because when you had on the bottom, choose at least 5, I thought, "I need to have
That
5."
was only for the one question, the last question.
Okay, I can narrow mine down more. I was
No,
just
I
trying to
mean,
fill
I wanna hear the rest, but I'll tell you mine, and then you can tell me the rest. How about
alright,
that?
do it.
Alright. For me, it's A Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh, that's such a good movie.
Yeah, Will Smith and Jaden Smith.
Mhm,
Um, this movie, I'm sure a lot of people know about it, but is like the struggles of I would say lower mid to lower class family,
mhm,
and they go through a lot of the struggles of finding a job, marital struggles and divorce, just raising a kid and having enough money for daycare, paying rent, paying your car payments, just all those struggles are in this movie, played by Will Smith as a father and Jaden Smith as his son. And this movie is used a lot as like you'll find them a lot in motivational YouTube videos, which I like to watch because there's a lot of good quotes. And I guess you could say it's kind of feel good because the way it ends. But along the way, it makes me feel thankful because this kind of reminds you to be grateful for what you have, and I'll just jump straight to the end. Like Will Smith, he works really hard to get this job as a broker at a super luxurious company that is so hard to get into and so hard to get hired. Like even his wife doubted him, but he ends up getting the job. He worked very hard for it, and as they're telling him that he got the job, you see his eyes watering up. He could barely say any words. He's just like he just has enough to say like thank you, shake hands, and then walk out. And then he's like running down the steps and he's in the crowd. He's just in a crowd of people on the sidewalk and he's just like clapping his hands. He's just clapping. He's finally happy that he has some stability in his life. And then he runs to the daycare, picks up his son, hugs him. His son has no idea what's going on, but he's just so happy that he could finally. There's hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and that moment right there makes me feel thankful. Like, yeah, something that little could be life changing. Like I know people don't always have jobs that they're happy with. Sometimes it sucks. Sometimes you have to find a better place to work at. But if you are working and you do have an income and you could provide for a family or yourself, it's really nice to have and it's really something to be thankful for, that you're not living on the streets. And I've changed jobs a lot throughout the years, and every time I get a job, I remember that scene in The Pursuit of Happiness. I always think like, all right, this is good. I could be in a worse place, and this is awesome that
Oh,
I could work. Yeah, so a lot of that movie makes me feel motivated to work hard towards my goals and stuff. But that scene near the end, that makes me feel thankful for what I have.
that is such a great movie choice. Like, wow, that's the great part about this is I never like, when I was thinking of movies that made me feel thankful, I never would've that movie wouldn't have not have come to mind, but when you said it, it's like, yes! Oh my goodness. I completely agree.
Yeah, this is gonna be
That
fun. You already mentioned a movie I've never seen, so I want you to keep going.
that like the thing also is oh like I remember watching the ending of A Pursuit of Happiness, and I was sitting with my dad, and my dad started crying when Will Smith got that job. Cause my dad is like we've been in a similar situation, like that in the family, and like when Will Smith was clapping, my dad was clapping. He was just like, "Yes, yes."
Yeah, and isn't it awesome? Like the big climax of the movie, or like the big finale, is him getting a job. You know, it's like not a grand thing, but once you know the story, you know how important that is, and how hard he worked for it, and how hard it is to get a job specifically in that company. So such an awesome feeling to see that happen.
Exactly, and you're rooting for him that whole movie, and you're seeing something go right, and it's going his way, and that's just the beginning of something better and good things for them. It's just like it's such a feel good movie. Wow. But now I feel kind of bad because I'm following it up with a Pixar movie.
I thought of a lot of Pixar movies, um, but yeah, I trimmed it down because there's a lot of good themes in Pixar movies. But
I have
what do you got?
2. I have 2 Pixar movies on my list, and one I they were kind of tied. That's why I'm bringing them up at the same time
Okay.
because one is Brave, and Brave makes me really thankful for my mom. Like that was like it's like number 2 on my list because it's like Meet Me in St. Louis trumped it because it makes me feel thankful for my entire family and seeing a family work together and reminds me of that. But Brave, that mother-daughter relationship in that movie is exactly my mom and I. When we saw that movie, we saw it together, and the arguments that the mom and the daughter have in that movie is sometimes word for word arguments that we've had, but ultimately, like
Were you
they,
guys watching it together too?
yeah, we were.
And just looked at each other when you
Oh
saw the
yeah,
bargain.
oh yeah, oh yeah, big time. There's a scene
Yeah, you're
where
gonna have to explain it because I haven't seen it. So if you want to mention some scenes.
absolutely. There's this scene where the mom is making her try on a dress and she's like, "Beauty is pain." And like the daughter is like that I'm okay not being beautiful. And my mom looked at me cuz that's exactly what I've told her. And there's this scene where what is it? Like uh when I was younger, my mom, she always cuz I used to have a bob. Like right now my hair is long, but when I was a child, my hair wasn't a bob. It was really short. And my mom, she wanted to be like a little like she wanted to style my hair, so she would make me flip my head over and she would blow dry my hair upside down so my hair had like body, and I hated it. I hated blow
It
drying my
was
hair.
voluminous, like the
Yes.
80s.
Yeah, well, not like the '80s, but my hair is really flat. I got that, like, Native American genetics in me
It was
distantly,
flat
but
when you had short hair.
it was super flat. My hair
Okay.
is super flat, like, just in general. I don't know, have
Okay.
you seen the singer Cher? My mom has compared my hair to Cher because it's,
Did
like,
you look
super.
like Black Widow and Captain America: The Winter Soldier?
Yeah, something like that, but it's like that naturally, like, it's my hair is really flat, and so my mom is like, "You know what? I need to give it a little bit of poof." She's just got this flat, short hair, so she would make me, like, put my head upside down, and she would blow dry my hair upside down, and I hated it. I hated it 100%, and my dad would come in and be like, "Ladies, stop fighting." And I was like, "No." And there is a scene like that in the movie Brave where the mom and the daughter are just bickering back and forth about princess lessons, and then the dad comes in like, "Stop fighting. Let's go get dessert." So like there's just so much mirroring in that movie.
Was your dad watching with you guys, and then he was able to look over to you guys?
Dad was distant. He was doing work on his laptop and he was hearing it, but a lot of the conversations he was hearing, he would laugh, and my mom would be like, "Why are you laughing?" And he's like, "'Cause that's y'all."
What's so funny about that, huh?
What's so funny
You
about
got something
that,
to
huh?
say?
She's right. There's this scene where the mom so the plot of Brave is that they're, like, in Scotland, and they're royalty, they're Scottish royalty, and this is, like, old Scotland, so, like, the dad is the king of all these Scottish tribes, and it's time for the daughter, who her name is Merida. It's time for her to get married. And so the mom is like all big on tradition, and she's always raised Merida to be like she's giving her princess lessons and to be the proper princess and to be a lady. Merida doesn't want to be a lady. Merida wants to learn archery and ride her horse into the wind and climb mountains and like be this um adventuring princess. And the mom is like, "No, you can't. You have to be proper and royal, and you have to sit up straight. Don't put your weapons on the table," and things like that. And the like Merida does not like she doesn't want to get married. She doesn't want to be forced into this life. So she goes to like this witch in the woods. It's like a
Ooh.
Scottish witch, and
Does
she
she
asks
live in
the
a candy home?
she does not. She lives in like a log cabin kind
Okay.
of thing, like a cave. And she asked the witch to make her like help her give her mom something so her mom will change her mind. And the witch gives her this like cake, and if the mom eats it, she's like, "Oh, if your mom eats it, she'll change her mind." So she goes and she gives it to her mom, and the mom turns into a bear. And so the plot like after that is like, how do I change mom back from a bear to a person? And like the mom is still the mom, like she's just a bear. So she's still like acting like the mom. So you see the bear, like she'll
She
be
could
a bear.
talk?
She can't talk. She's like, "Roar," but
Okay.
she able to like no, oh, that's my daughter, and I'm still like I know who I am. So there's a scene where she's a bear and she's like, "What?" And then when they're like, "Okay, mom, let's go," she like stops and she puts on her crown. Like I still need to look proper and things like that. But and then like the movie, like I'm gonna spoil the ending, but like when there's like an evil bear that's hunting them, and there's this moment where the unlike the mom also the longer she stays a bear, if they don't fix her in time, like by the next sunset, then the mother stays a bear. So like throughout the movie, sometimes the mom will be a bear and like will attack Merida, and then she'll
Oh.
come to her senses and be like, "Oh, I almost hurt my daughter. Like I can't believe I did that." And you see like the shock in her face, and it's Pixar, they're gonna do those facial expressions so good.
Can I take a guess and say that the evil bear was also a person?
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Okay. Go on.
Uh, but, so, like, the movie ends with when Merida got upset at her mom, she broke this, like, tapestry, and tapestries at the time it's like a giant blanket, but it's embroidered with a picture, so, like, you could tell who's in it and things like that, it tells a story, and when Merida was upset at her mom, she cut her mom out of the tapestry, and so the way she, like, fixed it is she went with a needle and thread and she mended the tapestry, and then she puts it back on her mom, and it ends in this, like, tearful confession that, like, even though we fight, you know, that doesn't mean like, I still love you and I even love, like, fighting with you, I wouldn't trade you for anything. And, like, the mom goes back from a bear to a human again, but also, like, the mom understands, like, throughout this whole adventure, the mom understands Merida's side, like, she wants to adventure, I shouldn't force her into this lifestyle, we can compromise, we can both, give a little. And, every time, like, that movie ends, my mom and I will watch it together and we'll be like, like, "I
I'm
love you."
sorry.
I'll be like, "I love you,
Your
mom," and
flat
she'll be
hair
like,
is
"I love you."
fine. I'm sorry.
"I'm sorry I tried to poof in your hair. I love your flat hair." So, yeah, that's brave, and that makes me feel very thankful for my mom. I'm very close to my mom.
That sounds great, and yeah, I don't doubt Pixar could pull something like that off.
The second one of Pixar is Coco. I think I've gone on record with
Oh,
you. I've said Coco is my favorite Pixar movie. Like, just
that's
I
another one I haven't seen.
I love we need to watch that at some point, you and we
Are you
need to
gonna
watch
spoil
that.
it?
I'm not because I want you to watch it with me. I'll give a vague. I love the family that he has. Also, I it makes me thankful. The reason I put it on the list is because it makes me feel thankful for my culture. I think about how as humans when we're born, if you think about it, you could have been born anywhere, but you were given to your culture, to your family for a reason. And that's something that you should feel thankful for and feel, a sense of
Pride?
Yeah, like, you could have been given to any culture, but you were given specifically to your own. And Coco makes me feel that. It makes me feel like, because as a Mexican, I feel like there's so much that could be associated with Mexicans. You have like the cartel and the the drugs and like the mafia. All there's so much wrong, but Coco also kind of reminds me that there's so much good with the culture as well, and the music and the colors and the food and all of that still is part of that culture. And it makes me feel thankful that I was born into the culture that I was born into, and that I'm able to make that a little part of my identity. And it's like a part of me, and I'm still able to, like, that's also like a thing where I was able to see a movie and feel like I could fully relate, like, to the dynamics of the family, how like because there's like a grandma character, and the grandma is like the way she is with her grandson, and it's like, yeah, that's how my grandma is. That's how she talks to me. That's how it is. And like the food, there's a scene where they pan on this table, all of the food I have seen, like, on my own table. Like, that's
That's just a
Christmas.
regular Friday night.
Kind of like, to me, that's Christmas. Christmas is, we go full Mexican for Christmas. We have like the full Mexican spread.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, and so, well, it's also like if I ever get together with my grandma or things like that, like that's just like, even if it's not that, we'll be like, "Hey, you know what? Let's make gorditas tonight," and we like go full Mexican on the dinner table. It's like, "Let's go. We have all the sweets. We have everything." So like Coco just makes me feel so and then like the music, I could just go on cuz the music is so good in Coco, and it is just so, like, the whole movie is so beautiful and so fun, but it reminds me and it makes me feel thankful that I was born where I was and to who I was.
That's cool. I don't really think about that, but it is important and it determines a lot about the kind of person you are.
Exactly. It shapes a lot of it too, because like, I think we spoke about this in, like, a little bit, and when we spoke about A Bronx Tale, how we love how Italians are just like, what are you doing?" Get off," how
Mhm.
they're really honest, and
They're
that's
expressive, emotional,
exactly,
yeah.
that's an Italian thing, and, like, when you think about it, how, like, Latinos are raised, at least I can speak for myself, so a lot of it is passive aggressive, but that shapes your personality, because that culture, the way your family is, that's the way you are, and just the whole thing.
Yeah, that one Coco has been around, like, the conversation of the people that I'm around, like, for a long time. Like, it's something that I've been having to watch for a while now.
It's a shame too, because Dia de los Muertos passed, like, 2 weeks ago, I think it was November 3rd, and the movie is centered around Dia de los
Oh, we missed
Muertos.
it.
We did. But that was, like,
Alright,
the
next
week
year
we did.
then.
I know, I was
I could
thinking
wait.
that too when that was the week we recorded episode 1 and episode 0, the introductory episode, and in the
Yeah.
back of my mind, I was like, "Oh, it would've been really cool to cover Coco, but we should get the introductory episode out first." I guess we can wait till next year to watch Coco,
We'll wait
but
till next year.
no, the more we talk
I haven't
about it,
been spoiled this long.
we gotta cover it soon.
Alright, we'll see. We'll keep
We'll
it a
see.
surprise.
We'll see. But yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up there for that one, because the last one was just kind of thrown in because I thought I needed 5.
It was a last minute
It
toss
was.
in.
It was a last minute.
Alright, say it and don't explain it.
Alright, you asked for it. Mulan.
Next question. Which movies do you typically watch around Thanksgiving? And do you watch movies around Thanksgiving? Because that's something we do in our family. I don't know if you do that.
So yeah, your question did throw me a little bit for a loop because we don't. We we watch football,
All right,
but
that explains it. Yeah, like I'm not thinking about like a sit down, like, all right, everybody gather around, we're watching a movie. Typically, in my family, we put a movie on in the background. And for Thanksgiving, and the reason why I love Thanksgiving, I feel like a little bit of the family is doing something around the house. Like we're all scattered doing something. Like people are in the kitchen, some people are sitting at the table. Somebody's watching a movie that's on the TV. Somebody else is like in a different room, just hanging out in the bedroom or whatever. And everybody's just hanging out, doing their own thing, we come together for dinner, but then before that and after that, it's just like a movie's playing in the background. Maybe there's like music in another room. So that's why I was thinking, is there ever a movie going on during Thanksgiving? And if not, you could just say like movies leading up to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so I that's how I was gonna twist this was because typically in my house, um, the women do a lot of the cooking and then the guys will go watch football. So like we're getting the food ready and setting the table and the guys are in the TV room watching football. But the leading up to Thanksgiving, like probably throughout this week right now, up till Thursday, we're gonna be like cleaning the house, putting things together, cooking and things like that. And when we do that, that's when we watch a movie. Like that's when my mom, my brother, my dad, that's when we have either one of us is sitting down and we're watching a movie, like we have a movie on. We started that process kind of yesterday when
Okay.
when we were cleaning the dining room. My mom was like, "Hey, let me show you all this movie." And she put on a Turner Classic Movie, and we stopped. Like in a way, it destroys our progress because we
It
stopped.
gets engaging.
Yeah, we stopped what we went there to do, and we sat and we watched a movie. And so there are movies that has happened before in years past, and that's what I have filled this list with, where it's the pre-Thanksgiving preparation movies that my family always watch.
So what do we got? What are some of the
So
movies?
I started the last time. You start this time.
Oh, okay. All right. So the movies that we typically have on in the background during Thanksgiving, it needs to have one thing. And this is a thing like not even for Thanksgiving, just in general. This is mostly revolving around my grandpa.
Okay.
It has to have action or else my grandpa will go to sleep. So we have to play an action movie.
My dad has that same thing.
Yeah, so it needs to be like special effects. It needs to have good fighting or good like gun action. So that's typically what we choose. I remember because that's when I was living in New York. Now in Florida, sometimes, well, most of the time, I'm with my brother-in-law's family for Thanksgiving, and they would have like more Disney stuff. Like off the top of my head, I've seen like Maleficent, one of the Thanksgivings. I've seen one of the Pixar's. I'm trying to remember. I think like Finding Nemo they had on in the background, so things like that. But in New York, when my grandpa's there, yeah, we would play like any Liam Neeson movie is
Ooh.
is a contender. And I'm not gonna choose anything really specific. I'm kind of just gonna tell you the movies and not really get that much more into it because it is really just action movies. Like we have seen the Rush Hours. I did show him It Man. I know you haven't seen those yet, but
I want to.
yeah, and
I
we
mean,
have to.
I've seen Rush Hour. I mean, like, but Ip Man. Yeah, I
It
have not
Man.
seen Ip Man, but I want to see that movie.
Yeah, It
Movies.
Man. It Man is great. And I've shown my grandpa Air Force One because I feel like he would have liked that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I
But
like
here's
Air
the
Force
thing,
One.
even with as much action as there is, he still falls asleep.
That's my dad too.
He's still gonna go to sleep, but it's all good. And the times when he does wake up
He
is
likes it.
usually when it gets loud and there's an explosion, and then he likes the movie. He likes the movie, and then he goes back to sleep. But yeah, that's really it. It is really any action movie, but those are the specific ones that I've shown him before. And my stepdad has shown him Infinity War, but this is when I
Ooh.
wasn't there. So you can
Oh,
imagine like how confusing this is for my grandpa.
he's like, what? He's just the I don't even know who you are all the time.
Yeah, all the time. To every whenever a character entered the screen, that was him.
Oh, you said you had to lead it up. I just imagine you like thousands of miles away, like, no, why did you do
Wait,
that?
yeah, we gotta start with Iron
Wait,
Man.
you
No.
can't start with Iron Man. It has action. Put it on. He'll like it.
And on top of that, he only speaks Spanish and understands Spanish.
Oh.
But my stepdad put it on because he wanted to see it. He's a big Marvel fan. But my
He's
grandpa
like,
did like the action, and he was just like, "Oh man, that purple guy, he's really strong."
that perfect guy.
Yeah,
You're like, you mean our Lord and Savior,
yeah,
Thanos,
that
Josh
purple
Brook,
man.
Josh Brolin's only purpose in life.
Greatest purpose in life fulfilled. But yeah, that's what I got. What do you got, Caroline?
I relate to that on such a level, though. So many times when my dad, he'll just randomly spring on us when we pick up food. He's like, "Hey, put on a movie," and his he says put on a movie, but my brain immediately translates to find the most action-packed movie with no cuss words as soon as possible.
What are some
So,
good ones? What did you find?
uh, well, this doesn't relate to like the answers that I put down, but a
I
lot of the
know, but
time,
can you think of any of the
yeah,
movies that
like this is what got him into James Bond. He loves James Bond.
Okay.
He loves Mission Impossible. All of them, except well, no, he doesn't like 1 and 2. 3 is but once Ghost Protocol hits, he
Sorry, JJ.
sorry, well, I don't
I
I don't think JJ did he do 3? I know
Yeah,
he did Ghost Protocol, I know that. 3
JJ did
is
3.
okay, well, 3 is okay, I don't wanna spoil it for you, but 3 is it deals with, like, his wife is abducted, and that it's okay, I'm not saying, like, it's
I've
bad,
seen 3, but it was such a long time ago that, yeah, it would be a brand new movie for me if I watch it.
but Ghost Protocol is when it really hit. Ghost Protocol and then Onward are great movies. He loves those. He's seen Ghost Protocol so many times. And that's typically like, "Hey, you know what? It's been like 3 months since we've seen it. Let's put that on." It's like on a timer.
It's been too long. I'm starting to forget the names in
Yeah,
the credits.
put it on. He could watch the scene in Dubai where he's climbing this I can't
Yeah, with
remember
the
the
suction cups.
called Burj Khalifa or something. Yeah, he loves that scene. He loves that scene so much.
'Cause
But the
Tom Cruise, he delivers, is real.
does
He actually
yes,
did that.
he did on the Burj Khalifa. But the movies that we typically put on for pre-Thanksgiving prep. Number one, I've said this before on the pod already. It's Ocean's 13. This
Oh, here we go.
this plays into like
This is at
as
every holiday movie.
this is an every week movie. It's like, "Hey, what do we put on?" Like, right now, we're going through a Cutthroat Kitchen phase where if we pick up food and we don't know what to watch, we put on Cutthroat Kitchen. It's a cooking competition show, but I'm pretty sure once we bought, like, a whole season on Amazon. I'm pretty sure once we finish that season, we're just gonna go back to watching Ocean's 13 again, and it never gets boring. We could watch it that's the o one of the very few movies my dad watches and he doesn't fall asleep. He sits
It's
through that
gotta be
whole
good.
movie. I don't wanna hype it up too much for you, but that's high praise for dad to never
It's
fall
already
asleep.
maximum hype levels. I'm expecting, like, Infinity War levels of epicness.
It's not an action movie, I need to
I
tell
know.
you. It's a heist movie. It's smooth. Everything about it is
They're smooth
smooth.
criminals. I know that, Caroline. I
Exactly.
know what to expect. I've
I can
seen Ocean's 8, 30 minutes of it.
hush. No, we don't how dare
I
you
know
insult
exactly what to expect going
how
in.
dare you insult me this way. Um,
I liked what I saw of Ocean's 8.
how
Oh,
dare
and
you
I
ins
remember I did see Ocean's 11 too, and then I fell asleep because I was tired and old
how
age.
how dare you insult me this
But again,
way?
not because it's a bad movie, I was tired.
Everything you're saying is wrong right now.
I was
You
tired and I enjoyed the
you
movie.
like Ocean's 8, you liked what you saw, you were tired and fell asleep during 11? This is just blasphemy. Blas
Non-related to the movie at all, or the quality
blasphemy.
of the movie.
My dad has seen Ocean's 13 tired and stayed up. It's just, I mean,
I
to be
mean,
fair, it's
if I was as young as him, I could do that too, but at my age, you can't really force it anymore. And me and my grandpa, we sit side by side on recliners and we're knocking out.
it was sweatpants.
I could barely
Just
sit through a
no.
20-minute show anymore.
Oh, no.
I gotta take a break halfway through.
And
Anyways, what are we talking about?
Ocean's 13
Ocean's 13,
is
yeah.
yeah, one of the best. That's like a pre-prep. If I'm taking a while to find a movie, my dad will just be like, "Ocean's 13?" And my mom's like, "We've seen it too many times." And I'm like, "Yeah, but are you tired of it?" And she's like, "No." We put it on and we're quoting it. Like it's like poetry. Somebody will pick up a character and then somebody else in the family will pick up a character.
Yeah, I
Like
love doing that. That's
he and
awesome.
I have an immediate back and forth. We can quote it already. Like the scene is going. My mom will join in as like the third character and like just it's beautiful. It's the quote along that has already it
Been
happens every time.
quoted.
Oh yeah. we can quote that movie upside down. It's beautiful. After
What's
that,
upside down as
upside
opposed
down
to
means
backwards?
that's just another way of saying backwards.
All right, go on.
After that, it's The Hobbit, but not The Hobbit
Ooh,
1, The Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug,
Smaug.
and
Why is it
Smaug.
not any of the Lord of the Rings?
So, it's funny you say that because I have tried to get them to watch The Lord of the Rings and make that our pseudo. Because the weird thing is, like, we associate Christmas with Star Wars. Because typically when Christmas comes around and we're all just kind of chilling after that Christmas rush, because Christmas Eve in Mexican culture, you celebrate Christmas Eve. You make a big hubbub about it and you stay up till midnight and you like that's when the family comes over. They come over late on Christmas Eve, stay till midnight, maybe 1 or 2 in the morning, open presents, and then everybody leaves. And then Christmas Day is typically reserved for like the other side of the family that you're not too close to, or you just stay home and veg. And in
Really,
our
the day of Christmas is
yeah,
the non-close family?
that's how it's always been since I was born.
That's
Yeah.
weird
I
to me.
it's a big Mexican thing because, like, my
Okay.
abuela, like, everybody celebrates it Christmas Eve,
I
and then
thought Christmas Day was supposed to be the closest family, close family, waking up to presents, watching the kids open the presents.
so, yeah, like, Christmas Day is typically reserved for your immediate, that's the household.
That's not what you said?
No, well, if I'm that might be me not speaking correctly, but, like, Christmas Eve is when the whole family comes over,
Uh-huh.
and then Christmas Day is just when the house gets together.
Okay, so the not immediate family is over for Christmas Eve.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Maybe I
So
understood it wrong. I don't know. When I edit this, I'll hear it back. I'm sorry if it was me. I'm sorry.
it could be both of us, but
I'm
yeah,
trying to pay
so
attention here. It's late too.
it is,
It's not that
and
late. We're just,
it's not that late, we're both getting up there in years.
it's old
Tony closer,
age. It's old age.
yeah. It's old age and it's a long day. But yeah, so, that day, the reason I brought this up is because Christmas Day, when I'm just, hanging out with my parents and Davy and we're just chilling, we watch Star Wars. And so I've tried to make Thanksgiving after everybody leaves and we're all vegging from eating and we're all hanging out together on the couch. I've tried to make Lord of the Rings that, like that movie. Like after everybody leaves, we sit down and we watch like Lord of the Rings
It
1.
can't be that hard. How did you try to go
You
about
you
this?
would think so, but for some reason, my dad really likes The Hobbit. He loves the Hobbit movies. He doesn't like 1, which is weird. Like, it's not like he says, "Oh, number 1's not that good." But he loves number 2, and his favorite is Battle of the 5 Armies. He loves Battle of the 5 Armies.
So it only gets better.
Oh,
This
yeah.
trilogy for your
Oh,
dad.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, they like Lord of the Rings. Return of the King for them, like,
But it ain't
wow.
no Hobbit.
Yeah. I mean, if speaking from personal, like just for myself, I prefer Lord of the Rings to The Hobbit, but my parents think reverse. And I want to
That's
watch a movie
very
that they
interesting.
yeah, it's very, very interesting. I don't know if I can get in their head for that. But so that's a movie we watch pre-Thanksgiving. We'll start with The Desolation of Smaug, and then we'll then like everybody like stops and sits down for Battle of the 5 Armies.
Here's my recommendation to you since
Okay.
Thanksgiving is around the corner.
And any and all.
This time when everyone's all vegged out, all laid out on the couch and stuff, you just get up, no questions asked, just put on Lord of the Rings. Just put it on and let it play. I don't think anyone's gonna object.
I see, I that's exactly what I tried to do to make it.
You gotta be faster.
No, but like
Have it loaded up already.
that's the thing. It's already like see, I think that I was already so fast. I just went and I popped it into like at the time it wasn't on a streaming service when I tried it. I just popped the DVD into the DVD player and I put it on and my mom was like, "No, I want to see The Hobbit." And I'm like,
You see, that's already too slow. If they see you like opening up a case, like, oh, you're gonna put a movie on? How about The Hobbit?
No,
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 no, no.
no, no, no. I mean like the Lord of the Rings movie already started like it was playing, and my mom's like, "Oh, what movie did you put in?" And I said, "Lord of the Rings," and she's like, "The Hobbit?" And I was like, "No, Fellowship of the Ring." She's like, "No, I want to see The Hobbit," and I'm like, "Ah."
All right. Forget
It's-
everything I said. That's as fast as you can do that.
I know. I listen. I tried, and I see because of that. Davey and I have done our own like unofficial every winter or like post Thanksgiving, pre Christmas, we do our own kind of marathon of Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, of Lord of the Rings. And like that's what we do. But I think my parents are intimidated by the 3 hour time, but I think The Hobbit is also three
Yeah, The
hours.
Hobbit is pretty
So
long as well.
maybe just something about you know what? Also, my parents are not a big fan of Gollum. They don't like Gollum.
Oh.
Gollum is a huge part, and Gollum does come out briefly in The Hobbit, but not as big of a role as he is in Lord of the Rings, and I think that that could play a huge part of it. They really don't like him. They don't like Gollum. So, and then like in The Hobbit, they're big fans of Thorin Oakenshield, Richard Armitage, and
Yeah.
then the Elven King, Lee Pace, Legolas is in there. Evangeline Lilly is in there as I think her name is Tariel. Like they like all of that. There's a lot of action. There's a lot all the dwarfs will like stumble around and stuff. They're a fan of that. It's a very I'll tell you what, The Hobbit is a very sometimes a better paced movie. Not to say that it's better paced than Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is to me superior. But I think that just in terms of the story, there's a lot more that happens that'll catch you versus in The Lord of the Rings there's a lot of quiet moments along with a lot of action moments where they sit and they talk. They talk about the ring and all of that. And in The Hobbit, it's more of like we're on a quest to fight a dragon.
Oh
And then
yeah, in
once
Two Towers, I felt like there was a lot of sitting
there's
on a
a
giant tree walking through a forest.
exactly, and that like for them, I remember it was really hard for them to watch that movie, The Two Towers. Even though The Two Towers is one of my favorites, Sam's speech at the end still gets me emotional.
Oh,
Um,
that's awesome.
It's amazing. But yeah, like in versus, in the Desolation of Smaug, they get taken in by the Elven King and they like go down barrels and they're going down the water and then they go and they meet the dragon. And I think also because it had such a big impact in the theater, we saw Desolation of Smaug IMAX. And the way that movie ends is beautiful because like we completely lost track of time in regards of how long we had been sitting in that theater. And the movie ends with Smaug realizing that they were there for the Arkenstone and he gets upset and he flies out of that fort and he's like if you care for those villagers like now they're going to meet their end or whatever and he flies out and you just see uh like just the in the distance because the camera pans over to Bilbo. You can already hear the fire blazing in the background, and then Bilbo goes, "What have we done?" And then
And
at
then
that
cut to
moment,
black.
it cuts to black. At that moment, the theater lights turned on, and you hear that Ed Sheeran song of like, "Oh, misty eye of the mountain below," and my dad was like, "That's it! No, it can't end!" And
But now that the third one's out,
oh yeah, yeah,
it's
but
such a
like
good ending.
such a good ending. That was such a way to guarantee we were gonna watch the next movie. That like that whole I remember when that movie ended, we were all in our chairs like and ever since then my parents have loved that movie and they love that ending. And then Battle of the Five Armies comes out and they love the whole movie. They like 100% of that movie. So I know we've stayed on The Hobbit for a long time, but that is a both of them and they have to be watched in sequential order in my house. So those two, and then the last one is Home Alone. Like that,
Really?
yeah. We kind of start ushering in the Christmas movies when we start prepping for Thanksgiving.
I mean, yeah, I expected that.
You have to start if you're gonna watch a Christmas movie. The first Christmas movie of the year has to be Home Alone.
I agree. It's a definitive Christmas movie. It's the all I want for Christmas is you of movies.
Macaulay Culkin is the Mariah Carey for actors of
Yes.
Christmas.
All right, so you want to move on to the next question?
Yes.
All right. So This one, I'll say it and then I'll explain it, just in case you didn't get it. So what movie do you want to show your family but can't? So in my head, this is what I imagined. You have your family over for Thanksgiving, not just your immediate family, but family that you don't normally see. Now, what movie would you want to put on, but you can't for reasons like they won't really appreciate it because they won't be paying attention, or it's not their taste, or something too embarrassing, or something awkward to show in front of your whole family? Do you have any movies like that?
Yeah, when you sent me this question, I thought, "Ooh, we being controversial today."
Wait until you hear the next
But
question and my answer.
so, oh, I'm dying for that one. But yeah, so I didn't want to leave it vague, so I did leave. It's a general, but it's also one movie. It's two movies really on the list, but I'll explain. One is Spirited Away. It's a Studio Ghibli movie.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a great movie and it's just all around amazing. And then Studio Ghibli in general, I would pick any movie from the Ghibli lineup to show them. They're all masterpieces. However, my family, I don't think they have different tastes. They don't like animation, a lot of them.
I
Um
think we're gonna get along
they
just fine.
Oh my goodness. They don't like animation. They also like Studio Ghibli incorporates a lot of Japanese culture and mythos into itself. Like there will be a lot of references to like river spirits and a lot of like maybe some Shinto religion symbolisms in there every now and then. It's not like in your face, but they have a lot of those references and I feel like if my family were to see that, they would get completely turned off and they would be like, "Oh, what's this? What are you watching? What are you showing us? Take that off the screen. Put on Mission Impossible."
Put on The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug.
Put on The Hobbit 2, not that one. That's too slow. So yeah, Spirited Away is because Spirited Away is the cream of the crop. But it's really any Studio Ghibli movie. I would love to show them. They are like great movies, but I don't think my family would like them.
And so that was your answer, like just in general. Studio Ghibli, any one of them. But
Mostly Spirit, yeah, like any one of them, but if I had to pick one, it would be Spirited
okay.
Away. I have a second movie like in the list, but I want to hear yours first.
Okay. My answers are more like stories again because these are things that I have shown and they came out
Oh,
like they
they bombed.
no, it just got a little well, each of them have like a different response actually.
Okay.
So I don't know, should I have like three answers, but I think they're like all kind of short. So I don't know if you want to hear all three or if you want to go back to back.
We'll go back to back.
All right. The first one is pretty simple. Back to the Future. Now, yeah, now
What?
this is kind of like a joke within my mom and my stepdad because I love Back to the Future. My stepdad loves Back to the Future. My mom is so confused about Back to the Future. So every
Oh.
time we watch it, she's barely following it. And now is really a joke of like having to explain to her what's going on when it's a go-to movie to explain how time travel works. Like it's pretty much as simple as it can get. It pretty much wrote all the rules of time travel.
Yeah.
But my mom just doesn't get it. She doesn't get it, and we're explaining it to her, and she'll just go, "Oh, okay," and then still be confused, and then she'll ask the same question later, and we're like, "No, ma, that's his
Oh.
dad, but he's younger." She's like, "Oh, wait, but I thought they were like in the 80s." No, mom, she doesn't get it. She doesn't get it, no matter how
He's
many times we
going
explain.
There's a John Mulaney bit where he's trying to explain Back to the Future,
To who?
and to like the audience, but I feel
Oh,
like
you
the way
showed me
he's
that. I did
explaining
not
it.
like that
Yeah,
explanation.
yeah, yeah.
That's a terrible
I
explanation.
I'm imagining y'all giving that explanation because that explanation was making me confused
He
about
was
Back to the
wrong. I haven't seen
Future.
that video in a while, but he was wrong about things.
He's like, so he's going back to the future.
All right, that's the first one
It's
he's
like,
wrong
yeah,
about. Well, like, yeah, he's making fun of it. Obviously, he's a comedian. But yes, they're
back
going
to the
back to the
past.
future. He's stuck in the past.
He's going to the past. So he's going back to
And
the
then he gets
future.
stuck in the past, so he has to go back to the future since he's
He's
from
stuck in
there.
the past. So he has to go back to the future. I just picture that's the way y'all are explaining it to your mom, and that's why y'all she
He
hasn't
wasn't
gotten
even
it.
confused about that part, but I guess that's pretty much the attitude of how we had to explain it, yeah.
You're like, okay, so he has to go. He went to the past, and he got stuck in the past. So now he has to go
Ma, this is
back
when they were
to the future.
young. That's his mom
This is
and his
that. Those are
dad.
his parents. He went to the
You
past.
see, so they're disappearing in the picture because they're not existing anymore. Get it? Oh.
No.
No. No. Mom, when you said your kids are gonna love it, it's because the song doesn't exist yet. Get it?
He's
Ah.
ahead of his time.
Yeah. But
Oh.
yeah, that's one of the movies that we can't really watch when she's
That's
around anymore because she'll ask too many questions.
uh that is one of your favorite
Yeah.
movies. That's a shame. Maybe you have to pull an Oceans on her and have her watch it so many times that she gets it.
Is that possible?
I mean, it was possible for us in Ocean. Although no, no,
Wait,
no.
is Oceans even confusing that you have to rewatch it?
There's one I just remembered. There's one scene that to this day we none of us understand why it's in the movie. And like I said, we've seen it thousands of times.
Thousands.
And there's one scene in Ocean's 13 that none of us understand why it's in there. I've done
Like
research
a
too.
whole plot
Try
line or just a scene like, oh, I
No, no,
wonder
no.
why the director left that
One
in there.
There's one specific scene. It doesn't revolve around any of the main characters or even relevant to the heist. I don't wanna spoil it for you, so I'm not gonna say it, but it's one scene that none of us understand why it's in the movie. It is so confusing.
You never Wikipedia that?
I researched it. I even, like, Googled it's called, like, the diner scene. So I'm like, what's with the Ocean's 13 diner scene? Nothing. There's nothing there.
There's got to be something. The director had to have spoken about it. The writer, the actors,
It's been a while since I looked it up.
somebody on YouTube with a big red arrow and a circle in the thumbnail.
It's just I just Googled it, like, Ocean's 13 diner scene. Nobody. No
This is
nobody's
just an
nobody's
anomaly.
wondering. This is just it's a phenomena that nobody
Caroline, I will
has.
figure it out tonight. I'm gonna figure it out.
If that's what it takes to finally get you to see Ocean's
You're
13,
saying that like I don't
yeah.
want to see it. I just haven't
Yeah,
come
I'm
across it
saying
yet.
that, like, you're taking the long way of seeing it. You're
What's the?
walking a mile to go down the
How am I
block.
doing that?
You started with 8. That was your first
It
mistake.
was available.
Start with 11. 11's
It's a
available.
prequel. Actually, it's not.
You don't
It's
have
a
to
lower
watch the
number.
It's not. It's not even
It's a
Oh
lower
my
number.
goodness. It's not even the prequel. 8 happens after
I want to
13.
go numerically in ascending order.
Well, I mean, the bright side is that it can only get better from there, but the downside is you're wasting your time.
I like all those
Wasting your
actresses
time.
though. A lot of them.
Yeah, it's just a shame that they put them in a bad movie.
I gotta see this just to see how bad this really is. But more importantly, this diner scene. I will make the video to describe what's going on.
I've been waiting for it. I really don't know why this diner scene is in the movie. It makes no
We're
sense.
gonna have to do it, Caroline. If this doesn't exist on the internet, it's our duty. It's your movie, it's your franchise. You've seen it over 1,000 times. How many other people are confused about this?
You know what? You're kind of
You gotta step
inspiring
up to the
me.
plate, and I'll push you up
We
there,
can
and we'll
we'll
get
be
this done.
we'll be trailblazers.
Exactly. We will make the YouTube video with the thumbnail of the big red circle and the big red arrow.
my
How's
gosh.
that?
We will. This is my dream come true. I
We
didn't even
have
know
to. If
this
it
was my
doesn't
dream until this
exist,
moment.
then we will put it out there.
We're gonna figure out the Ocean's 13 diner scene.
We're gonna steal the Declaration of Independence,
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
starting with Ocean's 8.
And like that, you've lost me. So, I love how everything derails to Ocean's 13 when I'm not given a specific movie to watch. Anyway,
Oh yeah, so that
to
was
piggyback.
yeah. How are we talking about that again? You answered this like 2 times.
We were talking about
Oh no, like 3 times. I don't know
how
what question mark.
you you have to you have to Ocean's 13 your mom, but with Back to the Future, you have to make her watch it so many times that it's not confusing.
Oh,
And then that's where I got caught because no matter how many times we've seen Ocean's 13, there's still that one scene that is confusing.
after 1,000 times, you with the
Yeah,
capable mind and understanding do not
you
know what's
too much
happening in this scene.
too much faith in me, but yeah, yeah. So, you have to make her watch Back to the Future so many times
And she'll be in the same position that
that
you are, just as confused. And the thousandth watch compared to the first watch. Same amount of confusion.
admittedly, it was a bad I should have caught myself there that it was bad advice, but you know
You
what
just
I
wanted
meant.
any reason to bring up Oceans again.
So my second
Yeah,
movie,
what is it?
uh,
Ocean's
for
12.
for
Now this
this
one's a precursor to Ocean's 13.
see, now that's you. The next movie that I want to show my family, but I can't. Now, keep in mind, the movie, uh, it's Hamilton.
Okay.
Um, my mom and my dad, for the longest time, didn't wanna see this movie because it wasn't their taste. They didn't like the rap. At first, it kinda turned them off and things like that, but then one day, Davey and I were kind of jamming out to some Hamilton in the kitchen, and coincidentally, that night, like, I was washing dishes and Davey was helping me with dinner, and I had it on, we were singing a song from Hamilton, and my mom wasn't even really in the room, but then, like, that night, I took a shower and I was walking past their bedroom, and I heard the intro of Hamilton, like, the first song, and I was like, "Y'all
Oh,
are y'all watching Hamilton?"
they were
So I, like,
sneaking
went into
it.
my mom's room. They were sneaking it, so I ran into their room, I was like, "You're watching Hamilton?" She's like, "Yeah, I figured I'd give it a shot." And I was like, "Alright." And I pulled up a chair, sat next to her. We watched Hamilton
4
straight.
hours later, no
3, but
regrets.
yeah. So, I was really surprised she loved it. My dad wasn't really paying attention because it was kind of it's kind of fast paced. You've seen it. The
I
way that
paid
they're
a
talking
lot of
and things like that.
attention, and I'm just like my mom in Back
Yeah.
to the Future and you in the diner scene in Ocean's 13. I cannot tell you what happened in that show.
So my dad wasn't paying attention. He was hearing it though. So, he was in a even higher state of confusion. But my mom paid attention every second and she loved it. However, I know my family, like extended coming over like on Thanksgiving, I could never show that to them because I feel like they would have a lot of issues with the style of music. Um I think like the typical insert Hamilton complaint here. They don't like Lin-Manuel Miranda. They don't
What,
like
really? That's a typical
uh
complaint?
I don't know. I'm just I assume I'm making
Okay.
assumptions.
I think a lot of people like
So
him.
I think so too. I mean, he's clearly getting roles and given work so people like
Yeah.
him. It's not like I think if they didn't like him, Disney wouldn't get him. But I just think like one is like the style of music definitely that's not their thing. They don't like the rap hip hop y style. Even though that's not in every song, but the speaking in rhyme, you definitely have to pay attention to that movie. And I feel like it's so long that they wouldn't want to sit down and pay attention to it. Um, I'm trying to think of what else. Just like in general, there was like that incident that happened. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but there was an incident that happened when Hamilton was on Broadway, and I don't know how their opinions would be of like an incident of that incident, and
But they know about it?
then there's
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I mean I assume they do because that was the buzz around Hamilton at the time.
Oh, really? I have no idea.
Uh, yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's just a lot of factors into it, and I just because my parents, it was just like a miracle that they even watched it on their own, because I was trying to convince them for the longest time to see it and they didn't want to. And that's the same thing for them. I think I can't show it to them. I have to wait for them to develop that genuine curiosity and watch it for themselves. And then once we've all seen it, we can put it on in the background, kind of thing.
I get that. And in this case, it's a success.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it extends
To what?
to them. I'm hoping that my parents' curiosity extends to them, and then they'll see it. So we'll see. It's a
Your
developing
parents' curiosity
circumstance.
extends to them?
Like, if my mom was like, "Oh yeah, we saw Hamilton and it was pretty good," and then like my aunts will be like, "Oh,
Oh, okay,
she
okay.
said, yeah," and rather than just me being like, "Oh, y'all need to watch this movie," and they're like, "Ah, all right."
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if Thanksgiving comes around and then they put it on? They're like, you guys got to check this out.
Oh, that would be a Thanksgiving miracle.
Is there such thing? I know there's a Christmas miracle.
We can make it a
We'll make
thing.
it a thing. A Thanksgiving miracle.
Thanksgiving
Sounds
miracle.
good.
Watching Hamilton with the fam.
So I have a movie. Again,
Uh huh.
is a kind of a short story because this is something that happened, but I know I mentioned it, but have you seen Ex Machina?
I've seen bits and pieces because I fell asleep.
You fell asleep. You were
Straight.
bored?
I was tired. I was tired. It
How
was not
dare
anything
you?
against. It's a. Listen, this is no Ocean's 11, Mister.
You
But I
felt
I have
tired. What kind
seen
of excuse is that?
a
What?
valid
All right,
one.
go on.
No, no, no. You go on. But yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of it, so I know the story.
You know the story. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a little bit of the story just in case people didn't watch it, but I do recommend this movie too because it's great, and this is a scenario where I wanted to show people this movie because I thought it was really good. But yeah, it has Oscar Isaac, it has what's her name, Alicia Vikander, and it has
Yeah.
Donald Gleason. Donald Gleason, I think.
Domhnall
Yeah,
Gleeson.
Donald
Yeah,
Gleason.
he's Hux, Commander Hux
Yes.
in Star Wars.
We got Poe, we got Hux, and we got Lara Croft. And yeah, it's a movie about AI. Um, Alicia Vikander plays a robot of super advanced artificial intelligence. And Domhnall Gleeson comes over to Oscar Isaac's huge mansion because he has like this robot in his house. And he's there to kind of study it, report on it, and then come back. And then I think to really simplify it, there's a lot of other levels, but to really simplify it, he starts falling in love with this thing. And um it kind of brings into question like what love is, what artificial intelligence is. Um,
Is artificial intelligence true intelligence or a sign of sentience?
yeah, and like if they can feel real emotion, or has technology
I
reached that
think,
level?
therefore I am. Yep. Yep.
So I think it's such a great movie. So I was showing it. It wasn't Thanksgiving, but I was showing it to my sister, my brother-in-law, my mom, and my brother-in-law's mom, which I don't know if that's my mother-in-law. I don't know, but it was a nice group of people.
Mhm.
And yeah, so this movie was doing great. It's a hit. But then there is a scene with a lengthy amount of nudity. And
I think I know which one you're talking about.
yeah, and it's near the end. And that scene, it just gets real quiet. And people try to figure out
It
what to fill in the
it's
silence.
always super awkward to watch any scene involving nudity or sex with a family member in general.
Yeah, you start looking around, you start seeing like, huh, I never
I no,
noticed that crack on the wall over there. All right,
I immediately pull out the phone. That's my safety net.
Oh, I never pull out the
I turn
phone.
my
No way. We're watching a movie. You gotta
I
respect.
listen, that secondhand embarrassment is so powerful to me. I'm already vulnerable to it that I pull out the phone. I'm not
I
acknowledging
honestly don't
anybody. I'm not
feel
making eye
embarrassed
contact.
or awkward about it, but I just feel like, oh man, here we go. All right. I hope they don't feel awkward about it. I mean, let's just get through it, guys. It's a movie. And in the movie, I was just gonna say too much, but I'll leave it at that. But it's not like nudity for the sake of nudity, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's such a good movie, and I'll recommend it. I didn't want to spoil too much, but yeah, that was my second answer.
That's a good that's definitely a good one too, because that's a good movie, but I feel like it's sometimes maybe it's not for everyone, and then you get those. I think also watching it in a group could add to it, but I get what you mean.
So what do you got? Did you have another one?
No, that was it
Oh,
for
really?
me.
All right, so I'll mention my last one real quick then.
Uh-huh.
This one isn't a movie, and I wasn't even recommending it to anyone. I just think it's funny to bring up. This was when I was into The Walking Dead.
Oh
Really into it.
no.
So it started back in New York when I was still living there. Season one, I would go over to Carl's house and we would all watch it, like their whole family, we would all watch it on Sundays live as it premiered. And yeah, then once I moved, I kept on watching it. Like I was still hooked and I would watch it on Sundays. But the thing is, I didn't have cable in my room, so I would watch it in the living room because that's where the cable was hooked up. So,
Oh.
like after my dad went to bed, getting ready for work, I stood up a little later to watch The Walking Dead. I think it started around 9 or 10 on Sundays. So, I was just there by myself. And then there comes one day where my dad just, I guess he invites like a friend of his that was in town visiting or something with his family, and they just come in. I had no idea they were invited or they were coming over, and I'm already watching The Walking Dead. It like just got started, and then they come in and sit down in the living room. They're just like all hanging out. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh.
Um, but I wasn't like put off by it. I was just thinking like, oh, all right, they're gonna see that I watch a really cool show. They're probably gonna see like zombies being killed and stuff. Not for this episode. I forgot what season it was, but I don't know how much you know about The Walking Dead, and I don't know how much the listeners know about The Walking Dead. But
I know very little.
all
Very
right, so
little.
all you really got to know is like one of the survivors and the good people. Her name is Maggie, and then one of the bad guys, a really bad guy. His name is Negan, and
Okay, I think I'm aware of this because I am friends with somebody who loves The Walking Dead. They were freaking out when I think the scene you're about to describe happens. Continue, because I'm not sure.
I haven't seen a lot of it, so there probably could have been other crazier scenes. This one, it didn't get like over the top, but the implications were pretty rough. So like somehow he captured her, he had her hostage, and he basically made her get down to her like underwear. She still had like her jeans on, I think, and I think she was just in her bra. But yeah, he wasn't like, having his way with her or anything, but he was definitely playing the mind games of like stripping her down, and then he was like starting to rough her up, and then he like puts her on a table, and they never show like it going further than that. But obviously, the intent of the show was to show that yeah, this guy's messed
Right.
up, and he's physically and psychologically messing with her. So all of
Mm-hmm.
this whole scene, I'm here thinking like this is gonna be so cool. They're gonna see that I watch a cool show where they kill zombies, with bows and arrows and stuff, and like stab them in the head. Nope, this is a scene that they showed a girl getting
Oh
like
no.
abused, and then they're all sitting there. It's like my dad's friend, his wife, and then their kids, and then it's like, ah, and then we all just had to sit there, and it was like, sorry guys, I promise you, this show is really good. You just have to step in for one of the worst episodes.
The secondhand cringe. I don't know. If that were me in your shoes, I would have
Turned it
already
off.
put on yeah, put on something else. Like immediately, if she was to have taken off her shirt, like the bra, I'm like, all right, I'll watch this later. I TiVoed it. Y'all want to see like Nemo?
I didn't have it, Caroline. I can only watch it live.
Ah, Okay, I understand.
Yeah, but yeah, I probably
I
should have shut it
understand.
off. But at that point,
No,
for
no,
me, it's more
no.
awkward if I shut it off. I feel like I have to ride it out. It's already on. We're watching it.
Interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, if I turned it off, I feel
I
like
don't
that
know
would look
about
more
that.
awkward to me. Uh-huh.
Mm.
Just to me
I don't know
personally.
about that.
For me, yes. If I turned it off, it is like,
Okay.
sorry guys,
I didn't think that would
didn't want you
happen.
to watch that. All right, I'm going to my room. Bye.
I mean, I guess because you're, I don't know, what's worse, acknowledging that what you're watching is rough to watch or sitting through something that's rough to watch?
For me, I already told
Hmm.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think but I mean, I understand because it's live and you didn't anticipate it. There's no TiVo or DVR or anything. I get it now. I get why you didn't just change it, but yeah, that's rough. That's a rough situation.
Yeah, so
So, so is it because of that though you would not show The Walking Dead to your family?
not that episode, no. I'll show all of season 1. Season 1 is so good. Well, actually, no, not my mom. She wouldn't like the blood. But certain family members, I would show them all of season 1.
I can relate to Mama Tone on this. I saw like
Mama Tone. That's gonna need
I
a
saw
rename.
uh
Think about it. Think about it. We'll get to it.
give uh
But yeah, go ahead.
I saw scene 1 of episode 1, um, and I couldn't finish I couldn't go through with it. I saw the first zombie, and it was that little
Oh yeah.
girl in the beginning, and I was like, "Nope, can't watch this. Nope, can't do it."
Really?
I already
Because
knew. I can
I don't
like,
know if this is
I'm
putting you on
really
the
bad
spot
at
now, but
handling
you play it back for blood. But a lot of it.
it. There's a disconnect in video games. Everything is so fast-paced, and I'm really
Put it
just
on times
shooting.
2 then when you're watching Walking Dead.
My no, no, I'm also not I'm focusing on survival and shooting and making sure that I'm alive and that y'all are okay, and there's a lot to factor in versus giving your undivided attention to a show. And then it's live action. I can't handle gore in live action scenarios. So, yeah, can't do that. There's a line well, like, nah, that crosses it.
All right.
It makes sense in my head, the same way that it makes sense for you with not turning off the episode.
It makes sense to
It makes
some
sense
people.
in
I'm
mine.
sure some people will agree with me.
Yeah, same for this. Same for this.
But yeah, Walking Dead, I haven't watched it in a long time now. I gave up at the beginning of season 4. And they're like 10 seasons in, or I think more than that.
That's still a good ways in, season 4. Most Netflix shows don't even get that. A season 4, that is.
Speaking of, I'm waiting
They
on
get
Stranger Things, but anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so let's move on. The next question. I'm curious
Yeah,
to
yeah,
see what
yeah.
you got to say about this one.
Okay.
So this might almost sound familiar to the last one, but I think this is at the exact opposite end of what's the worst movie to watch on Thanksgiving.
So, yeah, when you initially sent me this and I read those 2 back to back, I was like, "Hmm." But I understood it because, like, one is a movie, like, I interpret it as, something I really like, but I know that my family wouldn't. But in this one, it's like, yeah, even we can agree that this is just not a good movie to watch overall on Thanksgiving. It's just not right. So do you wanna start?
I'm curious, you were already teeing it up. What do you got?
Mm,
Or unless you want me to go.
well, how many films do you have?
Just one. I have one film that I think is great, and then the other ones were just my ideas that I was considering, but I didn't choose.
I have 2. One is a definite, and then the second one is just, yeah, an idea.
Okay.
So the definite for me, I'll start it off. It's a movie called The Pianist. Have you seen it?
No, but I heard of it.
Yeah, The Pianist stars Adrian Brody. He is a Jewish man living in Poland. It's set during World War II, and he's a very skilled pianist, and he is basically This is World War II. He's Jewish. You can put two and two together.
What do you
His
mean?
family.
Go on.
Oh, okay.
Just go. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
His family, like, the thing is, like, the movie starts, that's the worst part too, this is why I think it's the worst. The movie starts, he has a sister, his father, his mother, his grandmother, and it starts with him, like, it starts as a happy life. He's a pianist, he comes home, he eats with his family, and then they live in Poland, so they start making them wear the star band to
Okay.
symbolize that they're Jewish. So, like, it takes you through that decline of, like, anti-Semitism propaganda, wearing the star to identify yourself, and then boom, soldiers come in and take them to trains to take them to concentration camps. And then um one of the soldiers recognizes the pianist and recognizes that he's a skilled pianist and doesn't want him, and, like, acknowledges he's a very well-known pianist and acknowledges his skills, so he only smuggles him out and has him holed up in this, like, apartment, like a room in the attic. And every now and then he'll go and he'll give him food. But in the meantime, this guy doesn't know where his family is, what's going on, what this whole political climate is. And then, like then that house, like that German soldier was, I guess, turned in or whatever, his house gets raided. And so he has to, like, make an escape. And so he's running and he goes and he tries to hide in another house. And it's, like, occupied by a German family that's deeply anti-Semitic, and then they find out he's secretly hiding, like, in their basement or whatever, and it's just him constantly on the run until finally he, like, is in this he, like, passes out in this, like, abandoned building, and the allies, like, the I'm sorry, not the allies, the well, yeah, I think it is the allies because I'm thinking of the world axis powers. The ally soldiers find him, so that's, like, the Americans, and they're like, "Hey, you're gonna," and, like, but by the time they find him, he's been through so much. He's like skin on bones. He's super skinny. He's just a man who's been drained of everything, and it's just a very sad movie. Uh, he loses his whole family, that's the thing. And that's
On
why, like, it leads to
Thanksgiving?
my yeah, it's the worst movie to watch on Thanksgiving because already that is, I think, one of the worst things to happen to humanity, being the Holocaust, and then he loses his whole family. He's the only survivor. So he, like, it's just overall, and the thing is, it's based off of a true story, like, that's why it was made. But it's just that's the to me, that's the worst movie to watch on Thanksgiving.
I can see why. I can definitely see why. Everybody would have to feel like, all right, let's not be cheerful, guys. Something very serious is on TV.
When I saw it with my mom, it was just us 2, and my dad walked in for the last 30 minutes, and I guess it was enough for him to understand what was happening. You can kinda tell, even if you don't know the context behind it, a Jewish man, a guy in a Nazi like, soldier uniform, you could put 2 and 2 together, of, like, something bad's gonna happen, and my dad was already like, "What are y'all watching? Stop. This is too sad."
Wow, just 30 minutes, huh?
Yeah, he was like, "No," and, like, the movie ends. I don't wanna, like, give away the ending, but just, like, after that, none of us were, I don't know, I feel like it's a good movie, don't get me wrong, but it's a sad good movie.
Yeah, that's the
So,
part. You don't want it to be a downer during a holiday.
yeah, and I feel like when you watch a sad movie, even if it's a good movie, it's sad, it saps
All the energy out of the
that
room.
exactly, exactly. So that's where that's why it's my pick for the worst movie to watch on Thanksgiving. I guess only tied with, like, this movie called Schindler's List, which is
I know
along that
that
same
one. That was
vein, but
popular.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I think The Pianist is a little bit more personal because we follow the pianist's perspective rather than Mr. Schindler.
Okay.
So yeah.
So that was a 2. That was even the other one you were thinking about.
Yeah, this was just, like, the pick for
Okay.
me. The other one's just an idea.
All right.
So what about yours?
All right.
So when I thought of this question, I almost don't want to say it. It's not my pick, but
Oh
my first thought
no.
was like, there's got to be Human Centipede, right? You don't want to show your family that. That's not my pick.
I'm- You know what? That did not even occur to me. Nobody. I hear you,
I haven't seen
listeners.
this movie either, just letting you know.
No, nobody see it. Nobody Google it. No, nothing. Do not. This movie. No,
Now you're encouraging them. Guys, do
no,
whatever you
no.
want.
This is not. Yeah, do whatever you want. Just no.
Do whatever you want,
I
but
mean, if
no.
you know, you know. If you know, you know. If you already know what it's
If
about,
you
you
know, you know. If
know.
you don't know, then leave it. Leave
It's
it that
better
way.
you. It's better you don't know. But
But
yeah.
anyways, that led me down
Wow.
the thought like,
The
oh, so pretty much any horror movie. You know, that's too easy. You can name any horror movie and just say, yeah, you don't want to show your family that, right? Because that'd be weird.
yeah. I mean, unless like that's the the general shared interest of the family,
Oh,
but
that'd be interesting.
yeah, yeah, more power to you. But okay,
That
yeah.
reminds me when we
Yeah.
saw The Ring with Carl's family. Anyways, but here's the one that I chose, and this one's kind of I don't know if you could consider it a movie. It's a movie length, but it's actually a documentary.
Yeah, yeah, that
All right, it's a
counts. That
documentary.
counts.
It's called Earthlings.
I've
You
never
never
seen
heard
it.
of it or seen it?
No.
All right, the way I came across it is because I love doing New Year's resolutions. So
Mhm.
one year I decided to cut out meat, and this is a documentary. This is a documentary you come across if you ever decide to go vegetarian or vegan or whatever, or just
I think I know where this is
yeah.
going.
So this is a documentary, probably like like the definitive documentary showing factory farming, pigs like being chained
Mhm.
up in cages and they're like force fed, and like chickens being
That
tossed and like cows being cut open. And,
already I concede that is the worst movie to watch
yeah.
on Thanksgiving
So not
when
only
you're
not only is it gory, you're also feeling bad because
you're about to eat.
yeah, it's like, well, great. I guess I'm a jerk, huh? Because I'm eating.
Well, great. I'm not hungry anymore.
Yeah, I'm about to tear into this turkey, and I'm watching some turkeys getting annihilated in this documentary.
Oh.
Yeah, and even if you don't care, even if you don't care, like, I didn't kill those animals, I'm just eating, it's still uncomfortable to watch because you're watching animals dying on the screen.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I think that's the
What are we doing, Tony? We're promoting this. This is why Thanksgiving is the
promoting
middle
what,
child.
Earthlings or Human Centipede?
We're none of the
Okay.
above. This is, we're over here trying to give Thanksgiving a good rap. Look what it does.
It still has a good rap.
Why are we still here?
You got your family, you
Just
got
suffer.
food.
The food is the problem, Tony. Look at all this factory
Oh, you're
farming.
right.
We
You're
can't
right. I
see.
need to backtrack on that one. You know what? Human Centipede. That's my choice.
No!
It's one or the other, Caroline. Choose.
Earthlings, we'll go Earthlings. No, but like that's the thing. You win hands down with that one. That's the ooh. I think about that now, and I already don't want to eat a turkey. Somebody get me a lettuce wrap.
Oh yeah, I definitely felt that way, even though I'm eating meat again. But when I saw it, I was like, I'm never gonna eat an animal
I just got
again.
back. I just got back from like barbecue. I was just absolutely
I
devouring
had
meat
some
right
fried
now.
chicken today.
You had some KFC.
Yeah, I had shish kebab. I had a whole bunch of good stuff today.
Yep, yep. Thinking about Earthlings, chewing
Yeah,
on
don't
that
watch
pork.
Earthlings unless you're ready to
Unless
give
you
up
are,
meat. Then yeah, watch it, and you're gonna be reinforced to never eat it again.
don't do it. Thanksgiving is this week. Don't do
Watch
it. It's so
it
near.
on the 25th. No, wait.
No,
When is
no,
Thanksgiving?
no, no, that is
Oh, it
Thanksgiving, the
is?
25th.
I always
Yeah.
thought it was on the 24th for some reason. Watch it on the 26th.
Watch it watch it never, unless you care,
Unless you,
and that's
if you love animals,
Don't watch
Watch
that
it.
because it's gonna make you depressed. No.
Watch it.
If you are passionate about factory farming and you want to champion that cause, yeah, watch it. That'll what's the word? Inflame your passion once again for that cause.
I
But
don't know
other
who
than
should
that, it's
watch it
just
at
a
this
downer.
point.
PETA.
I think everyone should go watch it.
No. This is not the whole opinion of Elbow Nudge.
This
This
is
is Tony
50%
only.
of the
This is
opinion.
50% opinion of Elbow Nudge. This other side here does not consent to this endorsement.
All right, guys. So that was the worst movies for Thanksgiving.
Those are the
Oh yeah, why are we
that's
saying
the
watch it
worst.
when this is a question that says worst movie to
That's
watch?
what I'm
Nothing.
saying.
I just got it. It's late. It's late. Old age.
It's late.
Takes a while.
That's what I'm saying. Don't watch it. It's
This
the
is the
worst
worst
movie
movie
for
to
Thanksgiving.
watch for Thanksgiving.
You brought this to the
But
table.
once it's the 26th, then is no longer the
No.
worst movie to watch on
After
Thanksgiving.
you've consumed that turkey, watch
Then you watch it. Actually, watch it for New Year's Eve. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going on that diet now. Salads every day.
See, I would, but I'm Texan. I can never go that route.
Too much
We
barbecue
love
out
our
there.
meat. We love that meat, man. You have no idea.
All right, Caroline, let's move on to the final question.
This is my favorite. I've been looking forward to this one.
All right, so I want to let the guys in on this. So we were thinking up these questions for this episode, and I gave Caroline a choice on whether it should be these questions or it should be kind of like a fun game or challenge or idea, whatever you want to call it, to spit out movies that should be Thanksgiving movies in the sense of how people say Die Hard is a Christmas movie. In that sense, like these are not Thanksgiving movies, but they should be because they either mention Thanksgiving or make you feel the way you do during Thanksgiving, or they can make you feel thankful, like the first question, or for whatever reason. So, for this last question, that's what we're going to do. Which movies should be Thanksgiving movies? And Caroline and I, we're going to go back and forth and judge our answers and see if these movies should be Thanksgiving movies. And you guys can judge along as well.
Yes.
I feel like there should be a
Yeah.
rating. Should there be a rating or no?
That would be fun.
5 turkeys? Out of 5 turkeys?
Yeah. We'll do out of 5 turkeys.
You want to see how much we get by the end?
Yeah.
All right, who's going to start?
Okay, so do we do this all in one go, or are we going to go back and forth?
Back to back.
Okay. So I layered mine out because to me, Thanksgiving is comprised of factors, in my household at least. And that is 1, coming together, 2, cooking, and 3, watching football. Or like, I should say cooking and eating, and 3, watching football. So I have picked 3 movies.
It should be 4. Cooking, 3, eating, 4, watching football.
Okay. I can think of another movie, but I have 3. Coming together, eating and cooking, and watching football.
Okay.
So I'll start with number 1, coming together.
Oh, they're all divided into...
Oh, yeah.
Wait, these are your categories for the movies?
Yes.
Oh, this is interesting. All right, go ahead.
So the first movie for me, and I chose this movie because I think it really represents coming together. Now hear me out. It's B movie.
Caroline, we're starting at a 1 turkey out of 5, so you're gonna have to convince me on this.
No! Think about it, Tony. Living. It's your family coming together, supporting one another, having a good time, cooking, fellowship. What community represents that more than bees?
Are you serious?
Tony, I take this podcast very seriously. In B movie.
Except with Bronx Hill, when you said, "Oh yeah, I was getting my homework done while playing it on the other side, on the other screen."
I made that mistake since, even though we're only 1 episode beyond that, and I won't in the future.
All right, let's not look to the past. We're here now.
So B movie.
Yeah, give me some scenarios that come up in the B movie because I can tell you right now, I barely saw it. I remember some scenes, but no, not beginning to end.
I saw it recently, and I'll tell you what,
This is the
this
only movie you rewatched for this episode.
this is the only movie I went back and did my research for this episode
Because
specifically.
this is the big opening. This is the one that counts.
I'm gonna. So first of all, this is gonna be conspiracy theory level for me. I want you to imagine the Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme.
Okay.
Black and yellow. You put a little bit of black in yellow. What does that make? Fall yellow. That kind of mustard yellow. That's a hot color on Thanksgiving.
That doesn't
Tablecloths,
make mustard yellow. That
napkins.
makes brown, I think.
That's even better. Brown is the color right
Brown
now. We're in
turkey.
fall. It's a
Sure.
brown turkey, brown rolls, everything.
I would say
Brown.
orange, unless Halloween stole it, but orange could also be
Halloween kind
Thanksgiving.
of stole orange.
All
Kind of
right,
stole
go on. Let's hear this.
brown. So already we got the color scheme separated, black and yellow. Hello. Then, the movie itself is all over the place. The thing is like in my searches, there was no real movie that encompassed Thanksgiving. There's a couple, but not a lot, and they don't focus around Thanksgiving. So you got to go abstract. You got to really think outside the box for this. And like I said, this movie is about coming together. And you wouldn't think that at first when you think about B movie. It's really about a guy who's trying to strike out on his own, or I should say a bee, who's trying to strike out on his own and make his name in the world. And he realizes that the human race is stealing honey from bees. And not only that, but they're factory bee farming. And he's like, I won't stand for this. I'm going to sue the human race. And so he has his human sidekick friend, girl, help him sue the human race. And we go through this whole kind of law court system. It's also directed and
Literally
written.
sue the human race,
Yeah. He sues the human race
like through the
for
court.
through the court for the rights to honey. Yeah, it goes through the whole Supreme Court process and everything. And it's a whole court case trial. It's written and directed by Jerry Seinfeld. So Art Seinfeld, sorry.
Yeah, I know
And
he voices the bee.
yeah, he voices Barry the Bee. And so the movie has a very comedic approach. It's very comedy-like. However, there's a lot of in-jokes in there. It's kind of like the Shrek for bees. And that's why also it makes it great for all ages, because you could have kids watch it and they're like, oh, wait, wow, bees. But you could also have adults watch it and it's pretty funny. It's really just entertaining all around. But then, like I said, coming together, there's this one part at the end of the movie where they realize that suing the human race was a mistake. So they have these flowers on a plane and they're trying to get these flowers back to Central Park. It's all set in New York, by the way. And they got to get these flowers to New York because since the bees have sued the human race can't use their honey. So the bees have excess honey. And bees, as you know, are worker bees. They have to keep working. But now for the first time, they don't have to work. They have excess honey. So they're all taking a break. However, because they're taking a break, that also brings to light how much pollination is needed in the world, because bees are the ones that pollinate. If they don't pollinate, we lose flowers, we lose vegetation. It's basically like a famine, drought kind of situation. So you know what? Barry realizes that by doing this kind of suing and strike, he was wrong, and he has to get these flowers from Pasadena, Texas, because they're the only remaining living flowers ever. He has to get them back to New York so all of the bees in New York can start pollinating again. And when he does that, they're on a plane, and shenanigans happens to where he now has to fly the plane. But his bee buddies are like, no, you know what? We're going to back you up. And as he's going into the airport, the bees all come out and they go up to the plane. And he gives this like inspiring speech where he's like, we're not made of jello. We get behind a fellow, black and yellow. Hello. And all of the bees start rattling together and they land the plane. And that's just such an inspiring scene of community and coming together. And it's so out there and crazy that I thought, yeah, you know what? I'm going to put this on the list. B movie's pretty good.
Caroline, I think is way too late. Everything you said, you're going to have to hear this back. I think when you're in a more normal state of mind.
When I've had sleep.
Yeah, like, you're going to have to hear this part that you said. And I want you to tell me if you agree with yourself.
You know, I could just be reaching and grasping at the straws here. I couldn't think of a lot of things.
I'll bump it up to 3 turkeys out of 5.
That's very generous.
One because that yeah, that scene that you describe, all the bees getting together, it bumps up by one, and then the other one is a pity turkey. So I'll
Oh
give you 3
no.
turkeys for that bee movie.
I appreciate it. I'll take the 2. I think 2 is a fair assessment.
So, oh, you're coming to your senses.
Yeah. This is why I have you. You have to anchor me. You get behind a
I really
fellow.
needed to hear
Black
what
and
you
yellow.
said after
Hello.
you've slept. I really needed to hear that.
We gotta rethink recording these so late.
I know. Especially at this age.
It's past your bedtime, geezer. Now, please, yourself, my
All right,
friend.
Carolyn. I'm sorry I got to do this to you because I got a really good one.
Okay, hit me with it. I think the only thing that could follow B movie is a good one.
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Okay, elaborate.
Not only is this movie about a bond between a boy and his uncle, not only is it about fatherhood, not only is it about protecting who you love, but it also includes a whole Thanksgiving scene with MJ, with Harry, with Aunt May, Peter, and Norman Osborn. They literally have a Thanksgiving dinner. And it's such a great scene in the movie too, because this is where Norman discovers that Peter is Spider-Man with the whole cut on his arm. And he has to lie to him. He says, "Oh, I got clipped by a biker
I
on the way over here."
forgot about that. That's a Thanksgiving
It's all
scene.
Thanksgiving scene, yes. Norman is the one to carve the turkey, and Aunt May asks him to say grace, but that gets interrupted when she sees the cut on his arm. And then Norman is like immediately out of it. He's like, "How did you say you got that cut?" He's like, a biker pushed me down." And then he's like, I gotta go. He leaves, starts heading towards the elevator. Harry gets up, "Dad, where you going?" And then he tells him about MJ. He's like, "Do what you want with her and then broom her fast. She's only out for your money." And then MJ goes like, "Oh, well, thanks for standing up for me. You heard that? Everyone did." Bam, she's out of there. But it's still a Thanksgiving scene. Everyone came together. I think it counts.
You know what? There's also that scene where he saves that bus or whatever, or that car, and he's like, "Yeah, you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
You mess with Spider-Man, you mess with New York.
And if you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us." And I think no line better encompasses family than that.
Exactly.
5 out of 5 turkeys for me. 5 out
Oh,
of 5.
thank you.
See, this is why we have elbow nudge. One of us has to have some sense. B movie is still good. I stand by coming together, but Spider-Man,
I hope it
you
goes up
can't
from
top.
here. What do you have next?
You can't top Spider-Man. Yeah. So, like I said, 3-parter. 1, coming together. 2, eating and cooking.
Okay.
So,
I think I
I
could
thought
guess it.
about. I kind of want you to guess now.
I immediately thought Ratatouille. Is it Ratatouille?
Yep, it's Ratatouille.
Yes.
It's Ratatouille.
Yes.
You're right on the ball with that one. It's Ratatouille. Now, my only thing about Ratatouille,
What's
it's
that?
first of all, it's a beautiful movie. It's about cooking and eating, and that whole, to me, it's such a satisfying. I want a clip, a supercut video on YouTube of just the cooking scenes in Ratatouille. That's like ASMR for me. It's so satisfying to see those scenes where he's just cooking. But
I agree.
I think the plot with Linguini. Have you seen Ratatouille, by the way?
I have. It's been a while, but I
Okay,
have.
good,
Yeah.
good. But the plot with Linguini, where he's the son of the owner of the restaurant,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. That I think the liar revealed storyline where they all find out that it's really a rat takes away from it a little bit. I'm not a big fan of the liar revealed storyline. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Is that what it's
I'm
called? Liar revealed?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
where
trope
they
or whatever?
exactly. That's
Okay.
the name of that trope. I'm not a big fan of that. I think it's so overused. It was
Yes.
it was kind of charming when earlier movies started using it, but then it just became a fall for a lot of things. I am not a fan of the liar revealed trope. That's the only reason I'm a little hesitant. But the scene of the rats, like of Remy with his dad and his brother, that redeems that subplot there with that redeems the movie for me and makes it kind of a Thanksgiving movie because it's about cooking and everybody's really cooking at that time and things like that. I just think if it's a movie about food and Thanksgiving is partially about food, partially about being thankful for your family, Ratatouille has those same elements. It kind of works.
No, I agree. I think you got a great choice.
I'm so glad
A
I've
really good
redeemed
choice.
myself
That's an easy
in your
5
eyes.
turkeys.
Yeah. All right.
I think people should add this to their watch list for Thanksgiving.
I think if I'm to give any recommendation, listeners, about what you should watch on Thanksgiving in the background this year, Ratatouille.
Ratatouille is a really good choice. All right, my second one. This one, I'm kind of glad I thought of it because I think it
Okay.
fits.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't come up with like a criteria necessarily like you did, but I did try to think of movies that first, my first go to was which movies have scenes at a table, like eating with family. That's the first thing I thought of. And then eventually I came to like, well, and also has to include family,
Mm-hmm.
or eating. Um, and then I remembered Meet the Parents.
Oh my gosh. Meet the Parents.
Come on, that fits, right? That fits. It's
That's
with
5 out of 5.
Ben
That's 5 out of 5
Stiller,
too.
Robert De Niro. He's dating Robert De Niro's daughter. Well, not dating, they're getting married. And he has to impress the family. He has to impress the parents. He's meeting the parents for the first time. And yeah, the whole movie is pretty much Ben Stiller flailing and failing to impress, like messing up at every turn. And I think it just fits so well with like this doesn't happen in my family. I don't know if it happens with yours during Thanksgiving, but I know for a lot of people, they talk about how it could be awkward, or you rarely see a lot of the family that gets together, like the extended family. Is sometimes you feel like you do have to impress. You kind of have to talk about what jobs what kind of job you have, or what you're doing at school. You kind of have to put on a show in a way if you're not with close family. And I feel like Meet the Parents kind of encapsulates that. And it is in the fall, so it matches that. There is a dinner scene, an awkward dinner scene, talking about milking a cat and and just like straight up lying to them. Um, it's just really good. And then that's that's one of the movies I was watching clips of earlier, just to get a refresher. And the comedy is so good. A lot of really good facial expression comedy, like subtle facial expressions that are hilarious. So that's one of my picks.
Part of me wants to give this a 5 out of 5 because yeah, you hit all the I think that's good criteria, especially with it being in the fall. No, you know what? I'm going to give it 5 out of 5. That's a good one. That's a good movie to watch.
All
I
right.
think I think that especially also I think what was the sequel? Meet the Fockers?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's a good little franchise to put on when your family's over. I like it.
Awesome. What do you got next?
Now, like I said, we're considering we're continuing our three-parter, coming together, cooking and eating, and 3, football. Now, I also picked this movie because it has a uh
So this one's about
thankful
football.
it's about football, but it also has a thankful element, and that's The Blind Side.
Oh. All right. I haven't seen it, but yeah.
It
Yeah, go
is
on.
what's his I don't want to butcher his last name, so let me Google. Um so The Blind Side is about a football player. He's African American and he's taken in comes from a very troubled home. I think it's Michael, that's what it is. So it's the true story of Michael Orr and how he is he's been in foster care in Tennessee, and anytime he's placed in a new home, he runs back to his mom, but his mom is a drug addict, and he's just he's from a broken home until one day, um what was it? I think it's the football coach, if I remember correctly. Michael Orr is a big guy. He's a big guy. He's a big guy.
He's a football
Uh,
player, right?
yeah. Not at the time. Like at the beginning of the movie, he's not. He's
Okay.
just trying to survive. But this football coach notices that he's a big guy, and he wants him to play for the team. However, Michael's personal life is not helping with him going to practice and being in football. So this football coach, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, he volunteers to be his foster dad to take him in. And wait, let me see. Mm, okay, no, never mind. So what it is he's a friend of a
What is it?
hang on. Okay,
Don't
okay.
lie to me.
So I would never. So he's placed in foster care this time, and he's already in high school, but he's still a minor. So the football coach wants to put him in with a good family. So he recommends this family take him in and take foster to foster him. And it is the mother is played by Sandra Bullock, and she is like amazing. I think her name is Lee or Leanne. And from then onward, it's just about the whole like seeing Michael Orr experience things a lot. It makes you feel thankful as well because there's a scene where like the family immediately loves him also. Like he helps around the house. This is the first time where he hasn't tried to run away from a foster home. He feels genuinely loved and cared for at this house, and he's taken care of in the sense of like everything. They cook his meals. They also provide emotional support, homework help. He feels genuinely loved, and there's this touching scene where he like they show him that they renovated this room, and he's like, "I've never had one before." And they're like, "What, your own room?" And he goes, "No, a bed." And
Wow.
it's just like it hits you. It hits home, and like then it goes on to where he becomes like not adopted, but he considers them his family, this family that has fostered him and taken him in. And they were even like at the premiere when this movie came out, they were at the premiere. And if I remember correctly, there is a Thanksgiving scene in this movie where
There
they all sit
is.
around. Yeah, and
There
they
is.
sit around and they say grace on Thanksgiving. And then he plays in like the football game, and the like just overall like there's a Thanksgiving scene, there's football, it's about family, and to me this is like one of the ultimate Thanksgiving type movies.
This is one of the movies I saw when I was trying to look up, are there any Thanksgiving movies? And they like this would pop up on some lists, Blindside. And I saw the Thanksgiving scene as well, and I didn't see the movie. You've seen the movie, right?
I've seen it like twice, 2 or 3 times.
I I'm just gonna trust that it's a great movie. I mean, it sounds good. I saw the one scene, and
We definitely at some point need to have like, I don't know about marathoning or like like dedicate a month to like feel good sports movies,
uh-huh.
but we definitely need to sit down and watch this for the pod
This is a
because
feel good sports movie.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is
Okay.
a feel good sports movie. Absolutely.
I mean, that's 5 turkeys in my eyes.
Yes. Did you have
Especially,
another one?
yeah, I do.
Okay.
How many do you have? Do you have?
That well, I was going this is just kind of like in the back of my mind. Davey recommended it to me
Uh-huh.
as I asked him like, "Hey, what movie do you think should be a Thanksgiving movie?" And he said it, and at first I was kind of like brushing it off, but the more I think about it, the more I can kind of see what he's getting behind. And it's a film called Meet the Robinsons. Have you seen it?
That's the animated one.
Yeah,
I
yeah. It's
haven't
a
seen
Disney
it.
movie. It's a Disney movie about a little boy. He lives in an orphanage and he wants, because the movie starts with his mother abandoning him on the steps of the orphanage. And then like it cuts forward to he's like 9 and he's like a little genius. He's like a little inventor. And his uh goal is to create this machine that can scan this part of your brain that stores your memories, so that way he can, and then like, and he wants to invent this machine that scans that part of your brain, visualize it so you can re-watch your memories like a movie. And the reason he wants to do that is because he wants to find his mom and see if he can remember, even though he was a baby when she left him, but see if he can remember her face and try to find her. And throughout, just by like trying to do that, like in a villain comes from the future. It has time travel in it. It's very timey-wimey. A villain comes from the future and tries to steal his machine, and then this kid from the future comes and tries to help him. And I don't know if I should spoil the movie for you. I kind of want you to see it, so I'll hold back. But the little boy, it's all about family. Like it's all about the Robinsons family, and he so desperately wants to belong to a family. And the end of the movie makes me cry all the time. The song also that they have at the end, when I hear it, it gets me all teary and everything. The lesson behind it also is that family doesn't have to be who you're related to. It's the bonds that bring you together and the love that brings you together. There is no like the what made me kind of like not super considerate was that's the only thing I guess that really relates it is family and that found family aspect, because there's no like eating scenes, there's no fall, there's no like any of the other things that tied into Thanksgiving, but there is that huge aspect of family doesn't have to just be who you're related to, it's who you love and the people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah, that's what this is about. It doesn't have to be literally Thanksgiving scenes in it and stuff. I think that's more than enough. But I'm surprised that it's that good because which studio made this movie?
This is Disney Animation Studio.
Oh, okay. Huh.
This is official Disney.
Okay.
It did, I should preface, it flopped. It was not received well. This is when Disney was hitting that rough patch. For some of you Diz nerds out there, you know that this
That's what
was
they're called?
during the era. Oh yeah. This is when Disney was experimenting with 3D animation and it wasn't going that well. They hadn't hit Tangled yet. Tangled is what got them to hit their 3D mark. They were experimenting, and Meet the Robinsons didn't do well. It kind of, yeah, it flopped, and a lot of people didn't like it. It's kind of gotten a reappreciation since it's gone back on like Disney Plus and stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, and the animation is wonky. It is. Um, you could definitely tell this is when 3D started being used. When other movies are around that
How
time might
long
have
ago
still
was
been.
this?
Do a quick. It wasn't like it's not super long ago. I do remember seeing it. I I don't think I was in high school, but I was definitely a teenager. Meet the Robinsons. 2007.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. I
When
mean
did Toy
compared to
Story
like
come out?
the that's let's see. Toy Story. Toy Story came out in 1995.
It's really late. I thought they were much fun. All right, so I'll tell you, Meet the Robinsons. When I remember the commercials being on TV and stuff, it did not look interesting. I didn't even get that that was a story from the trailers. It just wasn't shown to me that way, so I had no interest in watching it. So I'm surprised it has like a pretty compelling story. That actually sounds really cool to
The
like dig into your
marketing,
memories.
yeah, the marketing really messed it up too. They wanted to portray it as like this kind of Back to the Future knockoff
I'm
animated
sold.
movie.
All right, now I'm watching it. Let me load up Disney Plus.
It's not Back to the Future, it's Back to the Past in this case, but yeah, it has that feel kind of thing because it has that Back to the Future aspect where things that he does affects, but it doesn't affect his past. It affects his future. So, like, there's a moment because he's an inventor, and this kid that came from the future tells him like, no, don't stop, like, don't quit being an inventor, don't quit trying, and that's also no, but it's called Keep Moving Forward. And the movie really wants to hammer that in. Like, no matter what failures you may have, keep moving forward. And because your failures are just lessons for success. And this little boy, he's like, forget it. I'm useless. I can't do anything. I'm just going to give up. And we find out in one scene, he says, like, that's it. I quit. I'm not doing this anymore. A really pivotal character disappears because if he stays and decides to not quit, that affected somebody's life in the future. So like it deals with that kind of aspect to where like and Back to the Future dealt with that too, where certain decisions affected the future in a way.
Yeah, that sounds like such a great story.
You
I'll
I
totally be
think
down for that.
I think you would like this a lot. This movie is really good like that. But yeah, like I said, the animation was really wonky.
Is it a
There was
5-star movie in your eyes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I would watch it any day, like hands down.
In between
I'm
your
not
Ocean's 13 watches,
in between rewatch 1000 and 1001.
you'll just fit it right in there. That's perfect.
Absolutely. I think I saw it too over there was a moment I think in the summer when I was working on the house with my parents and we were just watching any Disney movie and I put on Meet the Robinsons and my mom was like, "Oh, I don't really want to see it." And I was like, "Well, we've seen all the other Disney movies. Let's just put it on." And by the time we finished it, she was like, "Wow, I don't remember it being that good."
I'm going to give it 4 turkeys.
4 turkeys is
Only
fair.
because you mentioned the animation and not really anything else thematic to Thanksgiving, but
Mhm.
when I see it, I will come back and edit this podcast, re-upload it, and say 5 turkeys.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
No, that's too much work.
Yeah,
I'll leave it at
I
4.
wouldn't
4
hold you
is
to that.
a very good rating.
We'll do an update in a later up.
Okay.
But yeah, do you have another movie that you think should be a Thanksgiving movie?
I do. I do.
Hit me with it.
I want to say Jumanji, the original Jumanji, with Robin Williams, with Kristen Dunst. And what I like about this movie that I feel like connects to Thanksgiving is that it does have the family theme. It starts off with Robin Williams. I don't remember their names because it's been a while, but I do remember the story beats. And yeah, Robin Williams' character as a young boy, and he has his friend over. They found this mystical board game. You could hear drums or the sound of drums whenever you're near it, and that's the way that you find it. Usually, like buried, hidden somewhere. So they find it, they play it, and a lot of strange events start occurring while you're playing this game. And I feel like a lot of people have seen it. I would even say it's a classic, but yeah, just in case someone who's listening hasn't seen it, I don't think it's that big of a spoiler, but yeah, like Robin Williams' character, he gets trapped in the game, and then I think it's like maybe 20 years later, more or less, these two kids, a brother and sister, find the game. They start playing. They free Robin Williams, and then they have to continue this game that started like 20 years ago. And yeah, this game bonds them, you know, because it's already a brother and a sister, and then it's two close childhood friends who reconnect to finish this game. And yeah, I feel like on top of me just also really liking board games, I feel like that element just naturally brings people together. Is like a thing that we do in our family at family gatherings to play Monopoly or just gather around the table and play a board game. And I feel like that's like a very intimate experience you can have because you're like all together in person. You're like laughing together. You're you're like looking at people's facial expressions, and you could like, you know, you're there. You're connected.
Yeah.
Jumanji provides that. It's a is a very real board game with real dangers. And yeah, so they all bond over this game. They all stick together. They all help each other out. And the longer they play together, the more they look after each other. And eventually, Robin Williams and I don't know who the other actress is, but they both start caring for these kids like their own. And yeah, so on top of all that, the family theme, I think just in general, I think it also takes place in the fall as well. Also, when this movie was shot, I feel like it gives me that cozy feeling of the weather, the people being together, the neighborhood that they play in. A lot of it just reminds me of the Thanksgiving feeling that I get.
It was filmed in, well, it came out in 1995. So it has that. It's been a long time since I've seen Jumanji. I think
Really?
the last time I saw, oh, a long time. I think the last time I saw it was as a kid watching it on Cartoon Network. Like that's how long it's been since I've seen
So
it.
do you feel like is you barely remember it?
Yeah, I barely remember
It's
it.
it's really good.
I remember liking it. I remember not wanting to turn off the TV and liking it. I just don't remember a lot of like the key plot details. But I can already imagine that 90s every movie I feel like from every era, you kind of know when that movie was shot. You know what I mean? Like the camera quality, the cinematography, the way the movies looked kind of thing. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I've been missing lately. Yeah, like movies shot in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s. I kind of miss that graininess, that a little bit lower quality.
Oh, I big time miss that. I was watching a movie this past week, um, and it was filmed in the 90s. And I'm a big sucker for 90s movies. I love the way 90s movies look. Even like I'll extend it to like the 70s, just kind of that grainy film
Mm.
quality with like Star Wars and all of that. I love the way they look. And I can already imagine I'm gonna look up while I'm talking a screenshot of Jumanji 1995 because I'm already imagining like that kind of grainy, but it in a way it makes the movie kind of warmer.
Yeah,
You know what
that's
I
what I
mean?
feel from it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it. And yeah, like it makes the movie warmer, more comforting,
And
and
I want to bring this up. It's like barely related, but remember I told you I was watching Just Beyond, that show on Disney Plus,
uh-huh.
and it's based off of R.L. Stein's work.
Yeah.
I was hoping to go in and watch it like another Goosebumps, but one of the things that bothered me the most is that it just looks too polished, too clean. I'm missing that Goosebumps quality.
Yeah, you mentioned that last time when we spoke about it, and that adds to it. That adds to the atmosphere of what you're watching. Whole look of it. Cause yeah, if it's too polished, I think you said this, but like when it's too polished, it's kind of hard to get that creepy or Goosebumps feel of it. Where Goosebumps was able to feel that way because they had that blend of like night that quality just had a down to earthness to it versus this new wave of the way things look too much like like okay, yeah, it's a show, it's a movie, but
Yeah, it looks too
you
much like they're on a set. It looks like they were too sitting too long on the makeup chair. Like
Yeah.
It looks too
Versus
fake.
like something like Jumanji, maybe it's a home video aspect. It's not like shaky camera or anything, but it kind of feels like quality you would get out of a camera today. Like an iPhone or something. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, that grainy film quality, there's a warmness, a down to earthness, and a relatability to it where you feel like you're part of it.
Yeah.
It can also be like a nostalgia factor. Maybe if we were to talk to like a Zoomer or a kid 10 years from
I'll
now,
call my
and they'll
cousin.
be
I'll ask them
they'll
what they
be
think
like
of Jumanji.
"Oh, what? That oldie? That Turner Classic movie, Jumanji?
Yeah, it looks so gross.
It looks so old."
This isn't
Don't
the
we
one with The
know?
Rock.
I feel like I know a person that says, "Oh, I don't like old movies. I don't like old-looking movies.
Who? Shout him out right now.
I don't want to."
All right, we'll move on. So is that a good pick, Caroline? Jumanji?
I give it I give it 4 out of 5 turkeys.
I'll take it.
I would give it a 5th. It's missing it's got elements of Thanksgiving, which is why it's on the table, and it's got 4 turkeys. I think it's missing one little thing. And
It's
also
missing a turkey.
yeah, but also don't remember it well. I think, when you see what was it? Are you gonna see, like, Meet the Robinsons? And I'll see
There's a
Jumanji,
lot of
and
movies
then
I gotta go back and see,
we'll
but
report back.
I think I have to start with that diner scene in Ocean's 13. I will figure out what
Don't
it
play with
is.
don't play with my heart like that. If you watch Oceans, we have to watch that together. That's a must.
But I gotta analyze this. I'm gonna do frame
Oh,
by
we will
frames
we'll do
analysis.
a 10 Cloverfield Lane. We'll watch it, and then we'll rewind it, and we'll do frame by frame.
Okay. This has to be a real video that we make.
100%.
All right. But again, I have to start with the whole thing. I need context. I can't just jump straight into Ocean's
Oh.
13.
Oh, Tony. You
I need to know Ocean's sister. What is she up to, you know?
just when I think just when I think
All
gotten
right,
some
was Meet the Robinson your last one?
Yeah, that was my last one.
Okay. So, I'll mention my last one. And this is the one that I told you I got to look up the plot for this cuz it's so hard to explain. This one, I don't even care if it gets a rating. I just genuinely want to recommend it to people
Okay.
who are fan of mystery movies and even sci-fi, I would say, slightly. Um, so the reason I bring it up for like this Thanksgiving question though is because the setup is a group of friends. They get together for like a dinner to have dinner and wine. And I think they're all just catching up. They're all from like out of, they're like in different states. I think they grew up together and then they get together for a dinner. And it already gives you a sense of like a friendsgiving. They're eating at a dinner, they're all telling each other what's going on in their lives and stuff. And it's shot like really it's I think it's like an indie movie. It's shot differently from like I don't even know if this was released theatrically. I would have to check. Um,
What's it called?
yeah, I didn't even say the name. I just realized I'm keeping it a mystery. I'm keeping it a big.
You're keeping the mystery movie a mystery.
It's called Coherence. Coherence is the name of the movie. So
Never heard of it.
everyone gets together, and I think I read that a lot of the script was left up to the actors to just improv. I think they just gave them like a general idea of what to be saying,
Interesting.
and you could tell in the movie the dialogue all sounds pretty real, like it's pretty believable, and people will like talk over each other a little bit. They'll start sentences like almost before the next person is done talking, like a little bit unnatural to what you're used to, natural to real life, but unnatural to what you're used to seeing in movies typically. Like, perfectly written and people know when to speak and when the next person is going to speak.
Mhm.
So, anyways, the plot. So the plot is like, yeah, they all get together, they're catching up, they're eating dinner, and one of the ladies, she mentions that on her way to the house, her phone just cracked while she was talking to, I think, her boyfriend or something. But her phone just cracks. And she was holding the phone in her hand. It doesn't drop or anything. The screen just cracks. And then she's like, it's so weird. And then they're talking about it and they're like, oh, do you have insurance? Blah, 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 trying to figure out. And then she was saying, did you guys hear about that comet that was passing by? People are saying like weird things like that can happen when the comet passes by. And they're like, nah, I don't know about that, whatever. They ignore it. And then as the night goes on, a blackout happens. Everyone loses light in the neighborhood except for one house. One house still has electricity. So I think they're like going to turn on like a backup generator or like get candles or something. I'm pretty sure they managed to get the light or like some sort of light source back on. And then this is when the mystery starts to unravel. I don't want to give away more than that, but yeah, some people decide to like leave the house and search like why does that house only have electricity? We should go check it out. And it kind of plays out like a Twilight Zone episode. And it gets it gets really cool. Dang, I don't know if I can say more than that. But yeah, they start like investigating why that's the only house. They start like getting a strange visitor and they start getting like certain items to bring to the house to kind of like figure out this mystery. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. I think I've said enough. If you're not sold by like the Twilight Zone episode kind of thing, then yeah, you probably won't be into it. But yeah, and I don't even think this is a movie that you really can't have this movie on in the background during Thanksgiving. But I think it's just like a cool Friendsgiving scenario. People just getting together for dinner.
It
And
might be a cool movie to watch at Friendsgiving if there are people who celebrate
yeah,
Friendsgiving.
literally at a Friendsgiving, and you tell your friends like, "Hey guys, let's watch this movie. I heard it's a mystery. Let's find out what's going on."
Let's watch Coherence and see if we can stay coherent.
Yes, I think that's part of the plot. You got to figure out how's all of this going on.
Okay.
Um,
Well, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, but yeah, I just highly recommend anybody watch it, no matter what time of year it is. If you're interested in mystery movies,
This is just your year-round advertisement of
yeah, I'm taking this last movie to just recommend Coherence.
coherence.
Yeah,
I give it 3 out of 5 turkeys.
fair.
1 turkey for a Friendsgiving vibe. 2 for if you want something a little different, doesn't have to always
Hmm.
be a feel good Thanksgiving kind of movie. It could be, you know what, we're feeling something a little bit different. Let's experiment a little bit. Yeah. Okay, put a mystery on. I can see it. And then the third one is a pretty cool premise. That's pretty cool.
It is, and
I
I know you've seen
I
Black
dig it.
Mirror. I'm pretty sure you've seen Twilight Zone, at least some
Yeah.
episodes. So
Yeah.
I think you'll like it. And it's
I
on
can dig it.
YouTube. The whole movie is on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I might check it out.
Yeah. So that's it, Caroline. Unless you want to add something else, this is a wrap up. We're done.
I I did create a small pitch for a movie.
Or a movie?
Yeah.
A brand new
We we
movie?
we joked about pitching Thanksgiving possible Thanksgiving centered movies back and forth.
Uh huh.
Um I wasn't really going to think of one, but like 20 minutes before we started talking, um
It just came to
I
you.
thought yeah, it just inspiration.
What do you got?
So, so think about it. I want you to imagine it in your mind's eye. Think High School Musical meets Meet the Titans. But sorry, Remember the
Uh
Titans.
huh.
But not set in high school. This is an adult setting where like a professional football star. Um he's by day, he's football, NFL, Super Bowl status. But by night, he loves watching the Food Network. Barefoot Contessa, Iron Chef, Good Eats, Cutthroat Kitchen. He wants to be a chef. But he's already defined. He's a professional football star. Think like the game plan. He's made it. And everybody is kind of telling him like, "Oh, don't waste your time. You've already made it, yada yada. You're making this, you're making bank. You're taking time away from practice." But this is a Thanksgiving center movie. This is a Thanksgiving movie that I came up with in my brain. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to make this feel good. So in my plot, I want you to think of a random name for this football star. I couldn't think of one at the time.
Gregory.
So Gregory wants to be he has this passion for cooking. He's a football star, professional player, but he has a passion for cooking. He wants to also like kind of go to culinary school maybe during the off season, get some more experience, be a chef on his off time. But a lot of people are like, nah, like, why are you into that? He comes from this huge family that loves and supports him. They have like his jersey, his team, like all over. They wear his, they always go to his games. But his coach, think of like a Denzel character. That's what I mean. Like, remember the Titans.
Sold.
The coach already sees that, you know what, Gregory, he really likes cooking. And you know what? What's wrong with having another hobby? You're not just defined
Denzel will never
by
allow
one
that, by
thing.
the way.
Well, this Denzel would,
Okay.
and he's like, you know what? My grandma always said, no matter how thin you make that pancake, every pancake's got two sides, just like people. Sometimes it's okay to flip that pancake over and experience what's on the other side. And so he gives Gregory like an okay to learn cooking and things like that. But the big conflict is that Gregory wants to prove to his family that he can do both, that he can cook and be the quarterback. But as you know, there's always a football game on Thanksgiving Day, and he's going to play on Thanksgiving Day. How is he going to prove to his family? He wants to cook them a Thanksgiving meal, but he can't because he has to play. So that's like the conflict. And so he plays in Thanksgiving. And you know what? I had it in my little screenwriting thing that he loses the game. And it's a really low point in the movie where you think like,
He loses the
oh,
big game on
he
Thanksgiving?
loses the big game on Thanksgiving Day. And you think to
I will not
yourself,
feel
oh,
good about this.
yeah. You're feeling kind of low. And you're like, oh man, you know what? Like, and you're
And then
feeling down
Denzel
with him.
says, maybe you should be a cook.
No, so the happy part is that he's feeling depressed. He's down. He just lost the game on Thanksgiving Day. But then he goes home and nobody has cooked Thanksgiving dinner. They want him to cook it and they want to help him. And they're going to embrace both sides that he can be a cook and a quarterback. And they're going to love him and support him whether he loses games or wins games, whether he wants to cook or not. And they're going to love him no matter what. And so it's
What if
him
he
like
also
the
sucks as a cook and the
no,
turkey
no, no.
is really
The
dry?
thing throughout the thing and the thing throughout the movie is that he's attending practice and going to culinary school. So he's learned how to cook.
But wouldn't it be cool if he fails at both and he's still
No,
accepted?
don't bring down my Thanksgiving movie.
Caroline, put me in as a co-writer. Let me get in on this. All
No,
right,
you're
so he
not.
sucks at both. He
You're a
ruins
producer.
Thanksgiving dinner as
You're
well.
a producer only. We only want your money.
He ruins Thanksgiving dinner as
No,
well.
he
But you know
doesn't.
what? His family still loves him, even though he's a
No, he
failure middle
doesn't.
child.
Even though he's Thanksgiving embodied.
Yes. Isn't that the real Thanksgiving message?
Oh, no. So the movie ends with him putting on an apron and ordering like his kids or his wife, like, chop those vegetables, do that. Everybody, we're making Thanksgiving. And then it ends with them like saying grace at their table and like a big Thanksgiving meal with the family that loves him no matter what.
Thank you for Papa John's. Amen. That's an order after he messed up
No, he
the
didn't.
turkey.
He cooked it beautifully. No,
Come on, that's a good one.
no.
Let me get
Don't
in
bring.
on this.
He's got to have a win somewhere. It's got to be a feel
The
good.
win is that he has a loving and supporting family.
The win is that he has a loving and supporting family and he can cook. That's the whole idea.
What if he could cook but not very well? Like me.
I knew that's where this was going.
And not where was going originally, but it went there.
I could already see the trajectory of this, and I knew that's where this was going.
Really?
That
From the
you were gonna
beginning?
say that. As soon
Because
as you were like, "What if
I
he
just found it
like,
along the way.
what you were like, "What if he absolutely destroys Thanksgiving dinner?" I was like, "Yeah, that's something you would do." Like in my
Oh,
brain.
that's where you connected?
Yeah, yeah.
See, I didn't connect it there. So that's just saying that that's how low you think of me and my cooking.
Uh, you mean your non-existent cooking skills? Yeah.
I could put chicken in an air fryer.
Let's
I could
move
put
past
rice in a rice cooker.
too much. It's late.
I
You're
could put
talking.
frozen vegetables in a frying
Time to
pan.
go to bed, Grandpa.
And it comes out very edible.
Do you season it?
Salt and pepper.
That's good enough. But still, it's late, old man. So I've gone through some of the film titles for this movie.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
Um, um, Cook and Quarterback. Uh, Time to Eat.
Cooking
But
quarterback, that's Disney Plus. That's very Disney Plus.
exactly. Butterball. Get it?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
football and a
I think you
butterball.
might have problems naming it that, but yeah.
Yeah, I think so too, but I couldn't resist. um, Another one is Touchdown. Meals ready.
All right.
And that's it.
Which one was your go-to?
None of them really. I was just kind of calling it Butterball in my head.
All right, don't worry. We could fix this, Caroline. Starting with the plot,
No,
and then we could go to the title.
no. But that's my certified
We could
pitch
call
for
it a
every.
Hail Mary on Thanksgiving.
No. Hail Mary, how dare you?
That's a football throw.
Yeah, but still, I don't want my movie being called Hail Mary.
All right. A touchdown on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, yeah, I'll
That's
take that.
boring.
Oh, never mind. Touchdown. Food's ready.
Pigskins and turkey legs.
Pig skins and turkey legs. Bump, bump, bump.
That's pretty good, right?
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
All right. Now let's fix this plot right now.
No, no,
No?
no, no, no.
Is good?
Don't, you don't touch this plot.
All right.
He's
All
a
right,
good
so we
cook.
reached the end then.
Thank you to everybody who's still listening. I should have said this at the top of the show, but I didn't. But if you're still listening, remember to give us a follow and like,
It's okay.
subscribe.
They know. They're smart
We're on YouTube.
listeners.
They're smart. They're smarter than us sometimes.
Yeah, I think they could think of a good title. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was just saying for the beginning. They know from the beginning, but everyone who's sticking around now, let them know. Where are we? What do we do?
Why we do it.
Why we do it? How we do it?
Give us a like, subscribe, a follow. We have a YouTube channel as well where we upload full episodes and episode previews that are little edits. We're on Instagram, where's where we do most of our social media.
We do?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And we are on Twitter, not as active, but we are on Twitter and TikTok. And then we are on every podcast platform ever. Don't quote me on that, but yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some we're missing actually.
They don't know that.
All right.
We're on the biggest ones.
The ones that matter.
Absolutely. But thank you, everybody, for sticking around and listening to our Thanksgiving recommendations. I hope that we have somehow helped you find a good movie to watch with your family this Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I hope out of everything we mentioned, something caught your interest. I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. And I want to ask you, if you don't mind, go ahead and call somebody you care about. And yeah, just let them know you care about them. Whether it's your mom, your friend, or if you're going to see them in person, even better. Give them a
Even
hug.
better. And you know what? Don't forget what you're thankful for. That is the real meaning of Thanksgiving. And I would like to say while we're here, I'm thankful for all you listeners for giving us some of your time and your ear and listening to us. So I'm thankful for all of y'all. Thankful for Tony, my co-host. I need him to ground me and anchor me. Black and yellow. What a fellow.
Just wait till you hear it back.
Hello.
But yeah, thanks to everybody who's made it all the way to the end. I know there's some loyal listeners. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Again, tell people if you like the episode, recommend it to them. And again, happy Thanksgiving. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.